Welcome to Pod and Long. I am your host, Ryan. It is great to have you with us once again. I'm here with one of my co-hosts. It's the Word of Drew.
As we've discussed previously on this show, I have one of these. I have one of these. I've won something, and yet James Harden and Dak Prescott make $60 million a year and haven't won anything. Either they're making too much or I'm getting cheated.
Why not both?
Why not both? I'm also here with Mr. Mike.
I gotta say,
You still have not perfected the dynamite drop-in, have you?
I got nothing. I'm exhausted. The first week or so of school is over.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, we get to do worst student of the week, right?
Yes. Of the week.
By name and address.
Yes, right.
Ironically, it's somebody who asked what the word audience meant today.
Oh, well, maybe he can be part of our audience.
Yep.
Also here with our other co-host, it's Mr. Megastar, Mark.
Now, I don't have an illustrious award like our friend Drew does, but what I do have, you see right there, he's right there.
The penguin, the pink flamingo? What?
Who you have to watch the other show to understand what he's doing there.
Oh, we can't talk about that.
Yeah.
It's like Fight Club.
All I have is a People's Choice Award that I'm using to keep my door shut.
Gross.
Yeah, that's about right.
I have a Nickelodeon.
I have a Cable Ace Award.
I have a couple of
Ace.
Grammys, but
They got a box full of Grammys.
yeah, right.
Oh, we're here to talk about week.
Spoken word album of my ass.
Mine's best salsa album.
Oh,
4 years
like
straight.
You beat Tito Puente, you bastard.
Tito
He knows what he did.
and Tito Puente Jr.
Man, Pitbull's really let himself go.
My God. All right, we're here to talk about the NFL in week one, not basketball, not Grammys or Pitbull. We're here to talk about the NFL. God damn it.
Fireball! Oh, sorry.
Pitbull was just here. He was here Sunday.
In
was
your
here Sunday.
house?
Yeah, he was just in my house. He did a podcast with me. No,
Okay,
he was at SPAC. Pitbull was at SPAC
Wow.
with T-Pain.
Oh.
He's still alive, huh? Good for him.
Yeah, they're both still alive. Tonight, we're going to do our categories. They are back. Our segments are back. And a little spoiler alert.
That's right.
A segment is back.
Mm-hmm.
After being gone for, I don't know, how many weeks was it? 8? I think it was week 8 when the last time we had this segment. It's Greg's Bets have returned.
Took us all by surprise. Ryan and I got the text. Yeah, at
8 was the last season was the last time.
Yes, right.
Fresh out of rehab, here comes Greg's Bets.
I honestly didn't even know what the text was because I'm just not used to seeing the bets anymore. So I was like, oh, holy shit.
Greg's Bets are back, so look forward to that. We'll have the Sad Boy Boat back for the first time. Broadcasting Moments, Stripe Spiral, Fubar. Maybe it's Cedars Tzatziki Dip of the Week. You never know when that's coming.
It's upside down.
Oh, upside down.
They don't pay for it if the logo's upside down. Mike.
They haven't paid for it yet.
Okay, let's start with category 1, which was the first game of the season. They're totally repeating. The Chiefs take out the Ravens on Thursday night.
Boo this man.
What do you have to say about the Chiefs?
And that, gentlemen, is why you wear white sneakers.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
That's what Mahomes said, actually.
Yeah, of course he did.
Piece of advice: wear white sneakers.
Guys,
Right.
wear white cleats, please.
He loves to make fun of other players when things go badly, but when things go badly for the Chiefs, he whines the entire time.
That's usually what most star athletes do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chiefs take out the Ravens. Ravens unveiled their new look Derrick Henry offense. It didn't work. It did not work at all.
I disagree. They gave up on it after the first series.
Well, that's true, but why?
Like,
It wasn't,
Never
it
done
wasn't
that
working.
before.
Momar ran
It
what,
was-
16 times?
Oh my god!
It's a shoot. Look, the problem when you play the Chiefs is it's a shootout. unless there's some sort of adverse weather condition or they're on the road or something else, like Chiefs games can very easily turn into a shootout, which is why they got rid of the run. Like Harbaugh's offenses have always been designed to pound the rock in the middle, be opportunistic with throwing the ball, have a stout defense, and call it a day. The Chiefs are they're just fast and they're just good, and I hate it.
They were good. And the other thing that is a little scary is both of their top picks looked really good.
Yeah.
Their left tackle that they drafted in the second round, somehow everyone missed. Penei Sewell's, was he cousin or something? Kingston or whatever his name is. He's Penei Sewell's like family member. And no one decided to draft this guy, and he's already a great left tackle. Protecting the blind side, no problem whatsoever. And then
that's not an important position.
Xavier Worthy, people traded out of picks to let them take this spot. Nobody wanted Worthy. Nobody seemed to want Worthy, and he's the best rookie so far in only like 4 touches. Which is crazy.
Yes and no. Here's the thing. You're being dropped into the Super Bowl winning team that's it's gone 2 years in the Super Bowl and has been competitive for the last 4 or 5 years. Anyone's going to listen because the system is really well planned.
Yeah, and listen, not for nothing. I think we as football fans all got spoiled watching football for so many years where there was this glut of talented quarterback play, right? By going to the Chiefs now, you really have been dropped in an offense with maybe the only current quarterback who makes his weapons better.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I mean, we watched so many years of that era where it was like Brady and Manning and Breeze and, the extension of
Lesser Manning.
The extension of Brett Favre's arm that was a bunch of different wide receivers over the years, or like even Phillip Rivers, right? Like there's not a lot of dudes like that. Mahomes is maybe the only guy active right now who makes his teammates better.
Well, he did that. He sure did that again. But it got closer at the end.
Yeah,
it got closer.
I want to talk about Lamar here. I think
Let's talk about Lamar.
Guy, seriously, that fourth quarter comeback that he had, it was so close. And I like that he blamed himself for the because everyone's talking about, well, I'm sure we'll get to it, the last play of the game. But the play before that, where he missed Zay Flowers, he took all the blame for that. And I thought
it was his fault.
Yeah, right. And I thought, a lot of other quarterbacks, and we've seen some this week throw, maybe not in the NFL, but in college, throw other players under the bus because of immaturity or whatever. And Lamar's always been such a pro since he's gotten this league.
Yeah.
And he almost did it. And I feel like, if you're a Ravens fan, you got to still be pretty confident about how your team is going to perform.
Considering...
Perhaps even more so once you saw the rest of the AFC.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you saw the rest of the schedule play out, you're probably more confident now.
The only thing that makes it salty, the only thing that adds to the salt in the wound as a Ravens fan is that J.K. Dobbins went off for the Chargers.
That's true. That's true. But
also, like again, there was once again some very suspect officiating that always seems to benefit the Chiefs again and again and again.
The O-line, the non-calls were
a million calls on the Ravens.
I don't have any experience with that.
Seeing Harbaugh just yell at the guy, that was hilarious when he just goes, "Move up with the guard."
Yeah,
you can see him yell it. Mm-hmm. Just move. He's not going to stop calling it. Just move up. Still, many more penalty flags were called.
Yes, they were.
Chiefs
look good, but I think the Ravens look good too. And obviously that last play, man, I got to feel for Likely. I mean, that sucks. That's
made a great catch. His toe was out of bounds.
It was.
It was out of bounds. So
right. Yep.
I don't know. What are you going to say?
I think I would not be surprised if both these teams are in the AFC Championship game at the end of the year. So
yeah, I didn't think that when this game ended. I did not think that. I thought, Ravens are a little suspect. They'll be good, but after watching all of Week 1, that they're going to be in the AFC Championship game again. 100%. This is one game, and they're going to bounce back real quick.
Yep.
Isaiah Likely, besides the toe, he was pretty impressive. He was impressive last postseason. He was pretty impressive again.
I was going to say, he was their go-to as soon as Andrews went down last year. He stepped in there, and they never missed a beat.
And Andrews was a
Yeah.
ghost in this game. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
that was by
absolutely.
plan, but I mean, he
He-
just,
He may not even be healthy.
yeah, he might not be. That was
He might not be. I will say Lamar is probably one of, if not my favorite player to watch in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's easily my favorite, but he always has these moments where he can't get it done in these moments, like where he misses wide open guys.
Mhm.
He always has a moment like that. I'm like, I wish he would just clean that little bit up because I feel like he could be as good as Mahomes if he
Sometimes he
could
has
just.
I
to
mean,
run off the field because he may have pooped himself.
Well, that's and we've all been there.
also.
That happened.
But
I know
again,
this is
like
this week.
remember too. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say I know this is this week, but he also didn't play on. He didn't practice already for the first 2 days, and they say he's sick again. This man has the worst immune system.
Yeah, why is
I've
he always
ever
sick?
been around. It's just he's constantly shitting himself. So-
When he was at Louisville, there was a story that came out that they wanted him to add weight, and they couldn't get him to put on weight because he was a picky eater.
Hmm.
So
I
like
wonder if
they
there's like a gastrointestinal. I know this seems
yeah.
weird to say, but maybe there is.
No, that's
Like,
what I'm saying. Is
yeah.
maybe he's got a thing
Or
like
Crohn's or something. Like maybe that's
He lost weight. I mean, this guy doesn't need to lose any more weight. He lost
right.
weight in the
Right.
offseason.
interesting.
I don't know. All right. Well, that's that category. The Chiefs are looking good so far, but there's a long season. They could, you never know. They could falter a little bit. Next category is the next game in the schedule. The category is the Turf Monster. I'm not really that interested in this game. I'm more
Drew's
interested in the
Packers.
NFL's greed. What the hell? How
So-
could
Did you
you let
see-
this
Hey,
occur?
this entire thing was a debacle from beginning to end. The fact that they, Eagles lose the home game out of this, but the way they remedied that situation apparently was they let the Eagles stay like right next to the stadium in a hotel, and they made the Packers stay in a hotel 2 hours away that they then had to drive to without a police escort in Brazil.
yeah.
Not good.
A country where a German production company had their entire broadcast truck stolen out of the World Cup compound.
My God.
And I mean, that field, holy
It was
shit!
a
We've
mess.
seen London fields be crap. This was worse. This was way worse.
Look, it's a soccer field, and
Yep.
it's not made for American, football. Damn it, it's American. And this is just another one of those like greedy ass cash grabs by the
Of course
league.
it
Like,
is.
we're making it a global game. Like look, you're in Brazil. You're never going to eclipse soccer. Just stop it.
No.
If you want to pick markets where like you have a way to end in, like Mexico, like the games they were doing in
Yes.
Mexico for years,
Mhm.
like they moved the Niners or like it was always like Niners Raiders or like Chargers
Cardinals,
Right,
somebody.
right.
Yeah, teams that were geographically
That makes
close to
sense.
Mexico made perfect sense. Hell, send the Bills to Canada. Go for it. Not
Honestly,
forever, Mark. I promise.
Bills
but,
like a
like-
Bills Lions Canadian game. That'd be fun. Like I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
or Minnesota Bills Minnesota. Or,
Mhm.
there you go.
But
I
this
like that.
this whole thing of like we're going to keep sending them to London. We're going to keep sending them to Brazil. Like, why? You don't have the infrastructure in place to have a globalized game without it being a massive competitive disadvantage to any team moving from one place to the other.
Yes.
Well, you heard what
I mean, we
Goodell
already
said,
talked
right?
about. I mean, no, I didn't.
He said
I don't
that,
listen to
I mean,
Air.
in roughly he's planning on the schedule to be 8 home games, 8 away games, and then every team plays an international game. That's your neutral game. And they would have it in different sites. They'd have 5 in London, they'd have a couple in Germany, some in Mexico, some in Canada. That's the idea. That's what he wants to happen within like 2 to 3 years. He said that right
gonna
before
happen.
the broadcast. Yeah, it is going to happen.
It's gonna
Yeah,
happen
they'll make it happen.
because
and it's gonna
networks
be
like
stupid.
Peacock need to get exclusive rights to these
Right,
things.
Prime
and they're
will be
gonna
able
pay
to
for it.
carry the Japanese game,
Yeah.
or like
Right. Well, I mean, there is an audience in Germany that they seem to like it, and
the
London
London
is
fans
built up
show
over
up.
time. You know,
If
Brazil-
history tells us anything, going with what the Germans like is not always the correct decision. Ryan.
Does anybody know? I've never
Just saying.
bothered to look. What are the ticket prices of those European games?
Right, that's a really good.
Like, are they
question.
charging full price for that, or is
No,
it
they
like,
can't
hey,
be.
give me 20 euros and get your way in here?
We just need to fill it.
let's
Oi, it's 40 quid.
The lowest games are 34 pounds. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here.
That's pretty
So that's
cheap,
like
I think.
$40.
And then the
Pretty
most
cheap.
expensive one is $295.
That's
That's
probably
not
like
nothing. That's not
sideline.
nothing.
Which
but-
is like no, but that's like maybe $350 depending on exchange rate.
yeah. And
Like,
the other thing I would want to know is they talk about this as being necessary for the growth of the league into the future, blah 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 blah. What is the percentage of people who have bought those tickets who are just Americans living overseas?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
like how
right.
many of those are actually local people? In England, I bet you get some. But,
Mhm.
you know, in Germany, in Brazil, like what's the local crowd really like?
Good question.
Well, here's another question too. Like if they're thinking league expansion or anything else, there's already, let's be honest, a lack of talent in the
Yes.
league as it is.
You
Yes.
can't
Like,
expand
you
for
don't-
another.
You
You
don't,
know, right?
you don't have enough room for like another four
no.
or five
So,
teams.
No, you're not.
and have it be good.
No, that's always what makes, you know, when the NBA talks about expanding, that's what makes it feasible, right? Is that it's only 12 guys on the roster with 3 guys on your practice squad or whatever. Like, there's probably another 15 world-class basketball players out there. There's not another 70 NFL caliber
Right.
players.
And I think that's
available.
what they're hoping for. By broadening the scope of this game, you're going to get players from England, from Germany who want to play this and
Right.
Yeah.
broaden out that pool. But I just don't see.
How?
I can't see how that's
There's
going to
no
work.
college developmental system.
Yeah,
every punter is going to be Australian, and that's about as far as you're going
Right.
to get.
right.
NFL Europe's got to come back. You got to bring it back.
I like
Bring back
NFL
the-
Europe.
Bring back the Claymores.
Yeah. The Rhine
Yes.
Fire. That was another
I
good
love it.
one.
Let's talk about
Better
the
than
actual.
Dresden fire.
Let's talk about the actual
Ooh, you
game.
cut me with that edge.
Whatever. Don't
Sick
start none
burn.
on it, boys.
Let's talk about this actual game. Drew's Packers fell to the hated Eagles. Saquon Barkley with a good offensive line.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Proving that once again the Giants are unbelievably terrible.
We're going to pile on to Dayball
Ooh.
later, but Jesus.
We
how
need
do
to
you
go.
not- Oh, God.
We need to go back to that clip that was it you that brought this up, Mark? Where the clip where was it Joe Shane was talking
Yeah.
to the Maras and they're like, the Maras are like, everyone in this room is going to be held accountable if this doesn't work of us not keeping Saquon. And
Cannot wait.
they're all getting fired.
Cannot wait for Joe Schoen to come back to Buffalo next year as an assistant
Yeah.
something because
Yeah.
not going to stick around with New York.
He's
That's for sure.
not long for this world on the Giants. Oh my God.
Not to be mean, Ryan, but I think Dan Morgan's coming back to Buffalo pretty soon too. So
Oh God, everyone's getting fired. Yeah, the Eagles look really. The Eagles could have won this by 3 more touchdowns probably if they weren't idiots. Jalen Hurts, some real bad moments there.
yep.
Picking the end zone, fumble.
Once again, though, a guy who didn't play at all in the preseason,
Yeah.
who's playing on
Yeah.
real bad turf.
It's
I think that's an aberration. He'll be fine.
yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Look,
We-
and I
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I think that's kind of a recurring trend. Like, that's why
Yeah.
I'm like not overreacting a ton to week
Yeah.
one
I guess.
because the
Yeah.
preseason is only 3 games now, and there's a whole bunch of people who didn't play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
not only and that's what I was going to say. Not only is the preseason only 3 games, but now your starters don't play at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It used to be like they played a little of the first game, little of the second game, and then the third game was kind of your dress rehearsal, and then the fourth game nobody played. And everybody, you know, because of the money involved, and obviously the injury risk. And I'm not saying guys should play more and get hurt more, but like the result of that is that the first 2 weeks of the NFL season suck.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody knows what they're doing. You haven't had any meaningful snaps.
It ain't going to get
Right.
better this week. I mean, you're
No,
right.
and it's
Drew.
not-
just
and it's-
week
yeah.
2
and
is
it's-
not normally a good one either.
You know, and it's not like college football where you're like, all right, week 1 for our opening home game, we can put the Furman Paladins on the map and smash them for 70 in a get right game. Like that doesn't happen at the pros. Everybody is good.
Unless you're
Right.
the Saints, then it happens for you.
I'm glad you didn't bring up like the Campbell Camels because we know they're megastars.
Love the Campbell Camels.
Let's talk about the Packers. Jordan Love was injured at the very last play or second to
Play.
last
Yeah,
play of the
sucks.
game. It was brutal. He's gonna come back. It's sprained
Yep.
MCL.
Yeah, correct.
That could have been a lot worse. That knee looked like it literally looked like somebody inflated it and then it went back to normal. That was gross. So
I thought it was dislocated the first time I saw it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it's a dislocated knee, but then he
I was-
walked off.
yeah.
So
But
bad.
I mean, Drew, you tore your ACL. I mean,
Sure
you
did.
walked off, didn't you? I mean, did you?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I walked off with assistance.
Okay.
Like a day later, I could walk,
Yeah.
but that day was rough.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like when that happened and I saw him get, I'm like, I still was thinking like ACL. So I'm glad it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
something he's coming back from. So
Drew's Packers have hope. Who's going to play quarterback for this team, though?
Malik.
Willis, bring him on.
I heard somebody talk about
Shit.
him in his photo. It doesn't even look like he can hold a football in his team photo. Have you seen this? Where it's like one finger on the laces? Or like, is that his problem? He doesn't know how to hold the ball.
The
Tannehill
Packers will
does-
be
Is Tannehill
running
going to
very
show up?
heavily. No.
Greg's guy, Ryan Tannehill, going to fill in here?
Was it?
Who
It
would
was
have been
Jeff,
there?
it was Jeff George that used to throw the ball with a finger on the back of the ball,
Yeah.
like on the back point, and that's why he couldn't throw a spiral.
Because he like grew up with like whatever football he was using didn't have like laces on it or something. Like he had a
Right.
reason for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it's
Wow.
and listen, that dude could throw it 75 yards in the air, not
Yeah.
throwing a spiral. Imagine what he could have done if he could have thrown it correctly.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, the Packers fall here. Packers defense did not look good, but we're going to say
Nope.
that a lot, probably. About everybody else.
so much of this
Um,
is just chalked up to week one.
Yeah, I'll chalk it up to week one. We'll see if the Packers can rebound, because if the Lions cook,
Yeah.
they might not get
Great.
back into it here. They might be feeling a setback, but we'll see. Eagles. There were some dumb moments by the Eagles. I thought, oh man, we're on the Sirianni fire train, but nope, they corrected it. They did okay. Couldn't do the tush push. All of a sudden, couldn't do the tush
No.
push. Failed at that twice. All right. Moving on to the next category. This is the one I've been looking forward to. The rookie QBs look awful in week one. All
Yeah,
of
they
them.
did.
Let's
They
start
look
with
like rookies.
Yeah,
they sure
a little bit harder when teams start
did.
game planning for you, isn't it?
Oh God. Let's start with this guy.
Caleb's dead, it's gonna be so sad. Hey Caleb, do you wanna come to Chicago? Hope you enjoy getting sacked every time you throw. Here's some life advice you're gonna need to know. Don't drink from the Green River or eat the yellow snow. Good thing you got used to losing there at USC. Chicago loves losers. Just look at the Cubbies. Caleb's dad is gonna be real sad if it's 3 years of saving.
We have to get Chris to just do the chorus for us for that.
Oh,
I love the chorus.
Come up with a Quinn Ewers song. That's gonna be the most
Yeah,
boring song ever.
Ewer's dad is gonna be so sad when he's on the Panthers.
They're gonna like sit home and play a nice game of Monopoly with Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh God, we need a Hackett song. Let's start with these Bears and Caleb's dad and Caleb Williams.
They won.
What do you?
They won.
Yeah, right.
93 yards passing.
One.
God.
93 yards passing. Let's talk about real quick. Let's go back. Mark.
So 84 yards rushing too. So a whopping grand total of less than 150 yards of offense.
This guy who's going to light the league on fire. Let's back up a little bit, because earlier in the week, Mark and Greg began messaging each other, and I was happy enough to be on that, where they started talking about this Titans bet. And how the Titans were going to go and roll over the Bears because the Bears were too confident. The Bears were overconfident. And man, were you on the money for the first
Should have worked.
2.5 quarters?
Should have worked.
17-0.
Yes.
Nobody can do anything on the
Feeling
Bears
so
offense.
good. Yep.
Titans are looking good. And then Will Levis happened.
Oh my god, I
He
still like
Leroy
Will Levis.
Jenkins the whole thing.
I like him.
Will
Dumb.
Levis.
Oh, the Mayo man himself. He, like, just football would tell you, like, you can sit on it. You can run the shot clock, if you will. You just don't make any mistakes, and the Bears can't do anything on offense, and you win the game. Maybe you win by 6 or 3, but you win because they can't move the ball. You just waste the clock. He went for hero ball instead.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about him last year is that, like, against all odds, he would still try to win it, and he didn't need to go play hero ball here. He could have just, like you said, ran the clock out. He'll learn. He'll learn. I actually was impressed.
No, he
by one of
won't.
his throws. Yes, he will. I like Will Levis.
No, he won't.
I don't think he's going to get better.
Oh, man.
He's not going to learn.
I don't think he's going
Oh.
to
young
get better.
quarterback. He'll figure.
I mean,
it out.
listen. We're poking fun at not Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams for his 93 yards passing. Will Levis had 19 completions for 127.
Not good.
So not exactly tearing it up himself.
But he still
No.
doesn't have a full year underneath him as a starting quarterback. Like, I would treat him
And
almost like another rookie. Like, he's got to get
Hopkins-
more experience.
Hopkins was on a
Hopkins,
snap count, right? He
Right.
only played like 10 plays or something. So he wasn't out there. But still, you had the game in hand.
And I don't know. I still have faith that he will learn from this. I like Will Levis.
Okay, so there's a block punt for a touchdown. Then he fumbles. So at that point, it was what, 17-16?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, now we've made a lot of mistakes. Maybe you just sit on it. And he decided to
Right.
flip the ball from his knees out to a guy who was covered by like 10 guys.
The best
And it
part
was
is
pick sixth.
he throws the pick, and you watch him, and he's on his knees, and he's doing this.
Yes. Rather than
Like,
get up and
doesn't even
chase.
doesn't even get up and chase. It's just
He's got the surrender cobra.
Oh, God.
Kyle Bullard made a living throwing from his knees.
Jesus.
I think it could get better for the Titans, but man alive, was this
Somewhere Kyle Bowler just looked up from a bowl of plain oatmeal and was like, "What?
On a
Me?
folding-
Somebody said my name."
He's got a folding table, like one of those plastic lawn chairs everybody had in the 90s, just in an empty room. The Joker painting on the wall.
Oh God, he's got one of those too.
He's got that too. It's all he's got. He just stares at it, eating the plain oatmeal.
Mhm.
It's one of 2 copies the artist made. Yeah. I don't think the Bears are very good. I think the Titans are maybe a little better, but they don't
can't
look
believe how
great
bad-
either.
The Bears defense was, I mean, for how much money they spent on the offseason, they look bad. Once again, could be week 1, but like, could be the Titans obviously were sloppy too, but
And you
That's
were
a
right
lot of
about
money.
You're also right about the Bears and their overconfidence. They were overconfident.
Yeah.
You were nailing that. Caleb Williams saying he's never been nervous for a game in his
talk a lot of
life.
shit. Yeah.
Like, okay,
Who do they play this week? Do we know?
maybe don't say that.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. They're gonna lose.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough.
I
It's not
figured-
gonna
I
be
figured I figured this was their homecoming game against Cal Poly. No,
They play Texas, or they play Texas. They play Houston. So
They play the Stroud's. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen. That's not gonna be good. But Caleb, I think, will get better. I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
I mean, he can't get worse.
he
So.
can much-
Have you seen? There's a Reddit post. Like when I hear Reddit posts relating to football quarterbacks, I think of the Russell Wilson thing because that was amazing.
Oh, that
The-
was
the
amazing.
bathrooms
The
in his house.
bathrooms.
Somebody has a chart, and it's a chart to 4,000 because the Bears are the only team in the NFL history who has never had a 4,000-yard
4,000
passer.
yard passer.
Right.
Yes.
Even the Jets have had one. It was Namath actually, but
Yep.
they had this entire chart, and it's like takes up the whole screen, and they have it for like each game where they're going to just fill it in. And it had like 97 passing yards, and you just see this very tiny line go down to the bottom. And they said like if he does this every game, he's on pace to throw for 1,513 yards.
Oh my God. He'll be better than that. But
Yeah.
my God, what a bad start. Never
Probably
nervous.
not
Nothing
gonna
to worry
happen the
about.
First year, he's probably not going to get that 4,000 this year.
I don't think so. The other thing, like the overconfidence, is not going to stop here. They thought they won. They won the game, despite how
It'll
bad they
stop
were.
next week.
Okay.
They're
All
going to
right.
get destroyed.
Speaking of,
gonna start seeing the body doubles again.
oh, Ewers, he's gonna have to put his hair down, start wearing different glasses. Not Ewers. What did I say?
Eberflus.
Eberflus. Not see. I'm already confused. He's got
Right,
me
could be-
confused
He's
already.
got him.
He's got you right where he wants you.
I
Yeah,
think
right.
Quinn Ewers is the coach, not Eberflus. What am I doing?
He's
Eberflus
like
like,
Edelweiss.
he's like Solid Snake. He's hiding under an orange box.
Yeah, right. Tastes great. Seahawks and Broncos. Bo Nix was fucking awful. He was maybe the worst quarterback in the entire league. Hideous. He was so bad. He threw a pass before we even saw where it was going. The announcer said, "Oh no." And then it was picked in the end zone.
Yep.
Shout out to Adam Archuleta, color commentator for CBS, who said, "Oh no." As soon as he released it. As soon as he released it.
Adam
I didn't know he
Archuleta-
did that. I gotta
Adam
check that.
Archuleta was another one of those guys the Raiders could have drafted. Does anyone remember who they drafted instead at the same position?
No.
Shit.
Derek Gibson.
Oh,
man, I wouldn't have
no,
gotten that.
I don't remember him being a
I
thing.
remember,
There's
like-
a reason you don't remember him.
That was
Anyway.
like what, 2000, somewhere around that neighborhood?
Yeah,
Somewhere
before
in
that, maybe. even a little.
99. Yeah.
Okay, well, the Seahawks didn't start out very good. They looked pretty bad. And I thought, man, maybe the Broncos defense is a thing.
Mhm.
Nope.
No.
Once the Seahawks decided, oh, right, we're supposed to run the ball a lot, then they started taking control of the game.
That they got a great 1-2 punch with Walker and Charbonnet. Those guys are
They do.
good.
Yeah.
You know.
They figured it out, and they could have won by even more.
Oh
They had
yeah.
a touchdown called back, and by DK Metcalf being an idiot. So, but the Broncos, they did come back, and Bo Nix did a triple fake pump spin into the end zone rushing touchdown. Is that something to be hopeful for, or is Bo Nix really bad, like we've been saying?
I think both can be true.
Yeah.
You,
Right.
you could always hope that maybe Bo Nix turns into Taysom Hill and that's the ceiling. I
Oh
don't
my
think that's
God.
going to happen, but maybe that's what you're hoping for.
We were talking about it on a group chat with me, Ryan, and our friend Kelly Gregg. The Seahawks play the Browns next. They could go 2-0.
Yeah,
That's embarrassing.
very realistically. I don't think they played that well. And once they decided that we can run the ball, then okay, yes, things were figured out, and they let Bo Nix
Yeah,
beat
a good
beat
team.
himself.
Which won't happen until I guess week 3.
Right.
Nope, they play the Patriots week 3. All right, so maybe week 4. So actually, the Patriots defense probably will stop them. like
Maybe.
that. Once a team realizes they can just stack the line, they pretty much got the Seahawks beat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they have 3 good receivers, so they should be able to throw the ball, but they could not in this game. What about Bo Nix? Is he really the worst quarterback in the NFL except for one? He might be.
No. He's close
Maybe.
to the bottom. But here's
Maybe.
the thing. Is this like some sort of karmic punishment for Sean Payton? Like
Okay. What did he
does,
do?
He does all the stuff in New Orleans. Like he just skips town at the end of it. He's like, I'm gonna take a year off and just disappear and then come back and get a new job. And now he was stuck with Russell Wilson's corpse, and now he's stuck with Bo Nix. Does the universe hate Sean Payton?
It's his purgatory. Like Virgil's
Yes.
walking him around right now.
Right. I mean, yes, I agree with you, but I also think it is there's a Venn diagram of Sean Payton's universe hating him and the Broncos' inability to scout quarterback talent. And those two things have collided into a real shit show.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been able to scout a quarterback since what, 83 or whenever they traded for Elway?
Which
Yeah.
that I mean, how do you fuck that up?
Yeah, right.
Actually, you could have taken Tony Eason, I guess. but-
Yeah, other teams did fuck it up.
Right.
Several of them did.
Right.
But
Including the Colts the year before by taking John Elway.
Yes, right.
Brian Greasy, he was okay.
I mean, they had the snake, but they got
Plumber,
him
Jake
from
Plummer,
Arizona.
but they got him
Yeah,
from
right.
they got him from Arizona, so that
What
doesn't
about,
count.
what about your boy Drew Lock? Ryan, how dare you?
I love Drew Lock, but he hasn't yet taken the Giants starting job, but he will.
Yes, he
So-
will.
Just this is a I'm going to go off the path a little bit here, but this is a stat I follow in week 1 of every year just to show the effect of there being no preseason and the effect of teams having crappy quarterbacks that they don't trust to actually throw the ball. So the 2 rookies, Caleb Williams, 14 completions for 93 yards. Bo Nix, 26 completions for 138 yards. The rest of this list I would refer to as teams who will be looking for a quarterback in April's draft. All right. Minshew and Darnold actually lead this list. Minshew, 25 completions, 257 yards. Darnold, 19 completions, 208 yards. That's passable. But then Justin Fields, 17 for 156. Kirk Cousins, 16 for 155. Kyler Murray, 21 for 162. Will Levis, 19 for 127. Jacoby Brissett, 15 for 121. Daniel Jones, 22 for 186.
Oh my God.
And then
Wait, what was Brissett? How many? Wait, hold on.
15 for 121. Geno Smith, 18 for $171. Dak, 19 for 179. Deshaun Watson, 24 for 169. And the only, I think, outlier on the list, because I think the team is committed to him, is Justin Herbert, 17 completions for 144 yards. Like,
That's
to me,
just
again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a statistician, but I feel like your yards should be at least 10 times your number of completions. Like, teams are completely adverse to pushing the ball down the field now.
Yep.
They sure are. Well, the Seahawks won that one. We have one more rookie quarterback that sucked. We'll talk about him here. He's on Mark's Commanders. Have you dropped the Commanders, Mark? Because they got their butts kicked by the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield tore them up.
He looked great. He did look
great.
Awesome.
He makes me regret us not putting the Bucs into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We might have to change that.
16-1 is what I'm going to say now. For the
Okay,
Commanders.
just one blip.
So, yep,
just
that's
one
right.
blip. Actually, Jaden Daniels couldn't throw the ball, but he could run it.
He could run the ball. Right. He did.
He can't
and
slide.
honestly, no.
He can't slide.
That's been a problem for them, RG3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, honestly, though, I think his biggest problem, too, is he took off when he didn't have to a lot. Like, there was not a lot of pressure around him, and he just wanted to make plays, which I think is admirable, but the Commanders look real bad. All that talent on paper that I was seeing did not show up in this game. So I thought the offense was going to – I thought Brian Robinson, I thought with Austin Eckler, I thought that was going to be a really strong run game. I think Robinson did okay, but Eckler did nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The receivers were horrible. That D-line that I thought was like completely rebuilt was gashed. So I haven't given up on them. I didn't give up my Rams last year, and they sort
They
of
proved you right.
sort of. So
They
we'll
did.
see.
They made the playoffs.
They did. We'll have a late season resurgence, hopefully, with the Commanders, but this was not it. This was real bad.
The Bucs look good. They look like the class of the
good.
division, though.
Mike Evans is like Drew will know what I'm talking about. For the longest time, I never drafted Curtis Martin in fantasy ball because every year I did it. I'm like, oh, he's too old. He's not going to do it. He's too old. He's not going to do it. And then I finally drafted him, and then that was the year he was too old and couldn't do it. Mike Evans, same thing. Every time I see him in a draft, I'm like, he's too old. I don't want him. And every year he fucking proves me wrong. He's so good.
That dude is legit. I know he has the occasional stupid drop, but like he's played exceptionally well in his career with a lot of crap quarterbacks.
Godwin looked good, and Godwin has looked
true.
like consistently good in a while. So that was
right.
Mike Evans can make the tough catch. He can't make the easy catch. That's the problem.
He can make yes,
he can make the catch between two guys in the end zone, bobbling the ball. He can't catch a wide open 80-yard bomb touchdown. He's going to tap it all the way to the end zone, which I enjoy. Yeah, the Bucs look real good, but I think the Commanders kind of suck, especially on defense. They really suck on defense. So Dan Quinn
they traded away all their best defenders at the deadline last year.
They did.
Yeah.
And Dan Quinn is thinking, what the hell did I just do?
I think there's hope for Jaden Daniels. Honestly, out of all the quarterbacks, I thought he did, all the rookie quarterbacks, I thought he did play the best, I guess. And a lot of that was his scrambling. He at least kept drives
he could
alive.
scramble.
So,
Scrambling is exciting.
Yep.
Could not throw. He missed Scary Terry a couple times deep.
And that's what I think was the most alarming is not that he couldn't get it to like he had power. He was throwing it. He could definitely get it close to him on a deep pass. He was just so inaccurate. He wasn't even close to these receivers.
That's not great. Okay, next category is a series of unfortunate events.
There's 3 games that go in here. The first one is the Falcons. Oh my goodness. The Falcons get annihilated by Chris Boswell and TJ Watt. Kirk Cousins
Happened to
looked
all of us.
like he was literally, his legs were fucking cemented to the ground.
I felt like after the first like TJ Watt blast through the backfield, they're like, O-line, that's what we forgot. Shit.
Oops.
We spent all this money on everything else. Fuck, I knew
Yikes.
there was something we forgot.
This is the true sign of a team that's overcommitted to a quarterback who might not be any good anymore. Is like he was ineffectual in that entire game, and at no
Yeah.
point did they look at Penix and they were like, you know
Yeah.
what, give it a go.
Nope, they
are
didn't bring him
committed
in.
to Kirk.
Well, you know those posts you see in the offseason where it's like Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Who stops this offense? Well, I'll tell you who. The rest of the NFL. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, it's
They don't care at all.
to make a very long story very short. I was listening to a lot of this game while I was driving to the Atlanta airport on Sunday, because of course the Falcons radio is what was local.
Sure.
And I was listening to the Falcons post-game show, and they were like, you know, Ray McLeod looked pretty good for Atlanta out there. And then
Oh.
one of their dudes on their post-game radio show was like, yeah, but that's not the guy we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite his fun name, that is not the
Absolutely.
guy. Yeah.
Great. Well, hopefully Cousins can get it together. He was not in the Cousins zone. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, right.
We have a theory
Yes.
on this show where Cousins is up by 2 touchdowns or down by 2 touchdowns. He looks like $1 million.
Yeah. We also call that the Dak Prescott corollary because it's also very similar. So
Yes. Yes. The other game that was in a series of unfortunate events was the poor Jaguars, who looked like they had this thing locked up until they fumbled in the end zone. And then they gave up an 80-yard touchdown to the Dolphins. And then it was over.
before that, does Trevor Lawrence suck? Like, I mean, I at this point,
Bad.
No, I know.
No.
he just,
Is he below the Orton line?
I still don't think he is.
I don't think he is
Okay.
either.
Here's the
but,
problem:
like,
is
it's so frustrating.
Trevor Lawrence is like Godfather 3, right? Like you
Freda!
wish it. I know.
Gabe,
Father 3?
He's like Godfather 3 in that. Okay, Godfather 3 is crap, but Godfather 3 is crap because it's Godfather 3. If it were not related to the genius of 1 and 2, you would watch Godfather 3 and be like, all right, there's some redeeming parts of that movie. Andy Garcia is pretty good. The plot's all right. But because it's the third Godfather movie, it's crap. Trevor Lawrence, the problem with Trevor Lawrence is that people still remember Clemson Trevor Lawrence.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If his name were, I don't know, I'm going to say Biff, but Biff is, friend of the show at this
right.
point. But if he hadn't had such lofty expectations and such a career achievement in college, people would be like, yeah, he's a B+ quarterback. They should stick with him. But he's always going to be
if he played for Northern Illinois and never was on
Right.
TV, he'd be
right. He's always going to be B+ Trevor Lawrence, and that's the problem. Is because we
this his
remember A+ Trevor Lawrence.
Is that so? We're saying this is what he is now. Like, I mean, because he hasn't shown any improvement in a year and a half.
And
2
he's
years
never.
now,
Yeah. Not that I can recall anyway. He's never had that game where he goes off for like 450 and 4. Never. He's never flashed that. Now I grant the Jaguars are crap, but he's never flashed that.
He's also never I've never felt like, all right, the game is, I'm down by 6. I need a quarterback. I'm not picking Trevor Lawrence is so far
No.
down my list of guy who I feel like is going to win this game for me.
He's not going to. And he didn't hear. The Dolphins looked real shaky, and then all of a sudden they turned it on.
That is the definition of nobody played in the preseason. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying
Oh.
that team, once they started to heat up real like normal. So
Well, things heated up before the game. Should we talk about Tyreek Hill getting arrested?
not arrested.
At no
Teams?
point was he under arrest, Ryan.
At no point was he in a jail cell, but he was cuffed.
I don't know what you
He
call
was
it when
temporarily detained.
Oh,
yeah,
what
I
did
was-
I going to say? Slammed to the ground and handcuffed.
Yeah,
That was
it's-
fucking wrong.
Detained.
I don't know how many steps there are between cuffed and lying face down on the pavement and arrested, but it doesn't seem that far afield to me.
That one cop thought one motion. That was what he
Yeah,
thought.
that's
Just
pretty much
down
it,
on the ground, Tyreek. That was unnecessary. It's always something with Tyreek. He's always involved in something. Like, just it's got to be very frustrating to deal with him. You know.
I have a Tyreek bias, so when you first messaged it, I was like, "Oh God, what did he do now?"
Right.
But it's not all on him.
We talked about this a little bit before we went on the air. The footage that they came out definitely shows the cop was overly aggressive, but that doesn't excuse the fact that Tyreek Hill is a shitbag. Like he has done horrible things in his life.
Maybe expect him to do something crazy.
So when that news broke, it's not, I think, unheard of. It's like, oh well, okay, he did something to a cop or something.
He's
thought
not innocent.
Yeah, I thought the same thing as you. He's not somebody who's earned the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
right.
No, he is not.
But it sounds like he was not treated well. So
that also doesn't mean that he wasn't mistreated. It just means when you hear the news, you're like, oh man.
Right. That's the initial thought I had, but we'll see what happens with this.
Tua looked great, by the way. If we're talking about going back to the field there, Tua looked very good in the second. So
not in the first half.
No,
but
not
in the second half, very good.
Waddle
the defense, man. The defense is bad.
Is bad.
Well, we knew that.
Jalen Ramsey too was bad. Like their only good guy.
He's getting old.
He got paid.
People are ignoring that he's 31 now or 30.
He got paid, and he was bad in the game. He was truly bad. So
and it's been a long time since there's been the de facto top cornerback in football who's lasted at that lofty height for more than 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, right.
Darrell Revis is probably the last one I can think of.
Revis or depending on how you feel about Patrick Peterson.
Oh yeah.
Those are the only two who lasted more than 2 or 3 years at the absolute apex of their game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what Surtain, if he actually is
and listen,
at that level.
I know that they've had a lot of ups and downs, but don't overlook Sauce. Sauce is that good.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
We'll talk about Sauce in a minute. Some weird stuff going on with Sauce last night. All right. Next category. Powerhouses. The Strouds take out the Colts.
Fighting Strouds.
The Houston Strouds. This is becoming a thing. The Houston Texans beat the Colts. Okay. Houston looked good.
Yep.
They look like a top playoff team, I think. I mean, they made some mistakes, but Mixon looked good.
Yeah, he looked real good.
30 carries.
Let's talk about Anthony Richardson though, because he interests me more. Because
I have things I want to say about Anthony.
Oh, good. Let's go ahead because his game is just bath salts. He's bath salts. He's bath salts. Josh Allen.
Somebody said that he was reminiscent of Cam Newton, and it's like I don't know if we were watching the same Cam Newton I was watching.
Cam.
Here's the thing, like. Every highlight and low light of that game was everything we've always believed about Anthony Richardson.
Yes.
He's gigantic. He's athletic. He can run like crazy. He's super physical. And then he throws the stupidest passes you've ever seen where he can't hit a wide open guy. And then, yes, he finds that 80-yard bomb that there's maybe 3 guys in the league who can throw the ball in the air like that while falling off their back foot. But also, that was not a skill throw.
Right.
That was a go load up the tape from Texas A&M. That was a Johnny Manziel heave it deep and hope somebody's under it. I don't think he knew where that was going when he launched it, other than a general part of the field.
That was a scary throw. As far as like, dear God, this would be amazing.
He's got a dude hanging off his waist and he's falling backwards and he launches it, 58 yards in the air to find a dude for an 80-yard touchdown. To me,
insane pass.
To me, he can't do that again this season, though, because now every defense knows he can put that far in the air and they're going to play a safety back. Because
true.
If you lay that up short, that's an interception. And now that teams know how far he can throw it, I don't think he can do that again.
Whew, what a throw.
I watched a lot of highlights of this, and I haven't seen a lot of Anthony Richardson because out of college.
There wasn't much to see.
He played like 10 quarters. Yeah.
He's slower than I thought he was. He's big, but he's not like that run that he had for the touchdown was a pretty slow run for a touchdown or toward the end zone. Like it was a little bit in slow motion. Drew, I think you mentioned this when you're going over the stats. 9 of 19. Are you
9 of
fucking kidding
19.
me?
9 of 19.
9.
But now I give him the credit. 9 for like 208 yards.
212 yards, but
But
80
9
came
for
on one
19.
pass.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah, that
Boy,
feels,
is he
that
fun to
feels
watch.
untenable.
he is bath salts.
Truly anything could happen.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. He might be my new favorite player that's not for fun. Like, let's go. Let me see what you're going to do.
It's a reference we make a lot. He's Nick Young. Truly anything
Yes.
could happen.
He is the Wizards. The Wizards of football. Well, they kept it close, but
They did.
This
Honestly,
team is-
did.
the defense was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So
they did
I mean,
play okay. Yep.
against a team that should have probably beat them by 20 points, and they kept it real close. So
That's true.
good on them.
That's true.
But once again, though, I think I texted you guys before this. I never bet on division games or rivalry
Mhm.
games, and
Yes.
this was a division game. Wacky shit happens in division games. It's closer than you always think. So I'm not totally surprised by it.
All right. The other powerhouse matchup was Lions and Rams. Good game. Lions, they're still frustrating, but they can run the damn ball, and they did that, and they won the game in overtime by just running it down the Rams' throat. Real quick on the Rams, they're very injured already.
Yeah.
The former
Yes.
Marks Rams. They've lost both their tackles. Puka Nakua's out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
Ugh.
they're pretty hurt already.
And,
So
man,
we'll see what happens there. But they couldn't stop the run.
They
at all.
started the breakdown in the fourth. It was kind of hard
Yeah.
to watch. So
Yeah. It's clear the Lions' lower weapons were a little more effective. So if that is the case, that's dangerous. If
And here's a sneaky smart move by the Lions. Wearing those blue on blue uniforms and having the backdrop of the end zones be blue.
He
yeah, they
blew.
blended
That's-
in.
yeah,
Legit.
Yeah,
it
they
was
did.
Bedford.
It was camouflage.
Yeah,
He
so
threw
it
a
was.
pick, and it looked like he was
You look
camouflaged.
at Stafford, like they cut to Stafford after he threw that pick, and he's like, I didn't even know a guy was there.
Yeah.
Like legit looked like he's like it's not Charlie in the trees. I
Right.
just had no idea what was going on.
This isn't McConkey. We're not at that part yet. We're not at that part yet.
Oh, don't worry, we're getting to McConkey.
Props to Jamison Williams. Looks like he's back to form. He looked at a great game.
He's
So,
very
And
fast.
maybe
Yeah.
not gambling on his team.
yeah, right.
Oh boy.
He only betted them to win. Fine.
Sure.
I think.
Thanks, Pete Rose.
No, he bet on some other sport, right? That
Sport,
was what he
yes.
did.
Yeah, he was betting on NBA games or
He
college
bet on the
basketball or
NBA
something.
in the building.
in
which
the
was-
Lions facility.
Wow, he
Wait.
got suspended.
Jamison, you bet on the WWE? That's weird.
Oh my god.
You bet against the Harlem Globetrotters?
The general.
I thought the Generals were due.
He's just spinning the ball.
Oh, take it.
That whole sequence, just as a side note, that whole sequence of Krusty is like top 3 Krusty.
Oh yeah,
It's brilliant.
absolutely.
That whole episode is fantastic.
I love my love for Krusty. He might be
Krusty.
my favorite character on that show.
Krusty is my favorite character.
Mhm.
Wow.
Except Mark's going to call me out because Mark knows my favorite character on that show is Dr. Colossus.
Dr. Colossus.
Oh,
He bats 1,000. He has
does.
like 2
He
jokes and
bats
they're both
1,000.
great.
2 jokes.
right.
Anything else to say about Lions or Rams?
No.
No, but one thing.
This game was on when I was at the airport and I was a captive audience and I had literally nothing else to do and I couldn't bring myself to care about this game.
Oh,
But again, like we talked about this at the end of towards the end of last season when the Lions sort of blew that game against the Niners. Like, are the Lions going to be a team that are going to be able to come back? And
We
coming
question
back, playing a week 1 game,
Yeah.
beating the Rams, who are not a bad squad.
Nope.
I think the Lions are, especially with Jordan Love going to be out for the next 3 weeks.
and Mike Cruz.
The Lions might have, they might get up to enough of a lead in that division where they're never going to get caught.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
that does happen. Like
That's a
when you
good
when you build up that lead, you have it wrapped up before Thanksgiving. I mean, that'd be a hell of a
Yeah.
moment. Like on Thanksgiving with
Well-
the Lions win the division.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
If
That would cause some sort of horrid life.
Earthquake.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, like they don't talk about that in the Bible.
if you
And then the
said-
Lions will win the division by Thanksgiving.
Okay, so here's
And
the Lions
Lions
schedule.
come down after that.
Okay, so here's the Lions schedule. Next week is Tampa,
That'll be a good game.
Tough.
then at Arizona,
They should win.
home for Seattle,
That's a win.
Yeah, probably.
bye week at Cowboys, at Vikings.
They should win.
They don't
Both
catch
of
the
those.
Packers till week. They don't catch the Packers till week 9.
So that's
So-
bad.
That's bad.
Love will be back. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like if they had the
Plus-
Packers next week, that's huge.
Oh,
But
plus
they don't.
just- law of averages in any given Sunday says they'll drop one of those games.
Yeah.
I don't know which
Yeah.
one it is, but they don't strike me as a team that would start off 6-0.
No.
Like that's just not
Dallas.
who they are.
They'll lose to
Hmm.
Dallas.
I think Tampa
Maybe.
Bay is a real possibility.
Tampa's a
If
tough
they
game,
play
too.
what we just saw, man.
That'll be
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
That'll be tough. That's no gimme.
No,
Okay.
boy. Boy, though, at the end of week 1, if I had told you the Lions are going to be tied in first place in their division with one team from that division, would you have said the Bears would be the only other 1-0 team?
Well, the Vikings are
No.
1-0 as well.
Oh, that's right. They actually
Yeah,
won.
right.
The
Holy
Packers are
crap.
the only team who lost.
Unbelievable. I don't understand anything.
We're about to get to those.
It's easy to understand, Drew. They played the Giants.
Yeah, we'll get to
Yeah,
those.
that's true.
We'll get to those.
When they thumped them.
The 49ers defeated the Jets. Mike, I give you the floor. No Christian McCaffrey? No problem at all.
My
He
God.
may be out much longer. There's rumors floating around on the interwebs that the tendon is an Achilles, like fasciitis of the Achilles, which
shit.
is a long-term injury. Like so he may be out for a while, but
Doesn't matter.
They didn't
It
seem to have
doesn't
that much
matter.
problems. So-
because we can pull a guy off the bench, have him run for 147, and generate more offense by himself than the entire Chicago Bears.
I'm just going to say it. Madden curse.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
man. But
Absolutely.
the thing.
I knew it. I knew it from the moment I saw
what's
my
even
man.
more impressive is he did against the Jets defense. Like the Jets defense
Yeah.
was
It's
the only
supposed,
thing they had
supposed to
going
be
for them.
good. They're supposed
okay.
to be good.
Here's the thing. Because McCaffrey is so explosive on the outside, everything else, people forget how dominant that Niners offensive line can be. And
Yep.
and with Trent Williams, like health, like he didn't have to play preseason, like he had to go get an IV at one point because he was tired.
Yeah.
But that entire line can punch you in the mouth. And Shanahan knows Salah's defense. Like he used to be the D coordinator there. He's seen inside
Yeah.
of what Salah does. He knows where the weaknesses are. Shanahan's a good coach, and they've got the offensive talent around them to just pick apart anybody. The fact that they kept coming up with field goals is a little dicey, but again, week 1.
Yeah, right.
The Jets defense. They
Yeah,
are
correct.
still a thing.
Correct. The Jets are a great defense, but they put up 32?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
with field goals. Imagine they were actually scoring touchdowns. They would have put up like 70.
They were
Yeah.
blowing. the
It would have been
Jets right
like
off
me
the
playing
line.
NCAA.
Yeah.
Okay. And they just punched the Jets in the face from the beginning.
And on
as you can
defense,
see-
too, they also punched him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they didn't
let's talk
like-
about Poochie. Come on, let's
It's-
get
okay,
Poochie
so
out of the way.
I'm getting to Poochie. If you look at the defensive stats for the Niners, it's nothing amazing. It's like 1 sack, the pick. But it does not tell the story of that game. The
No.
Niners defense absolutely dominated them and just pushed them around. And it's like you don't hear any big names like it. It wasn't like Bosa had a fantastic game. Like, he had 3 sacks. It was just very pedestrian of like, you are not going to get what you want.
Yeah.
Now, Poochie. Screw you, Poochie. There's a thing that when Rodgers threw that pick, sorry, when
I loved
Rodgers
it.
threw that pick, they cut back to him, and he's got this look on his face like he's just come to the realization
So
that
he's
he's
not good.
playing for the New York Jets. And immediately, as you can see from my tagline below, the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme popped into my head, and that's all I can think of for the rest of the game is like, this has the potential to be Aaron Rodgers' season from hell. Like you came
Yes.
back, buddy, and now you get to watch the entire collapse of the Jets. And I don't wish the Jets any ill will. Like, look, God has punished Jets fans enough by making them Jets fans.
Well, Joe
But-
Namath is still alive, so
I'm standing by my theory. The Jets don't win a thing till Joe Namath dies. He knows what he did. But, no, like this was, the McCaffrey thing and everything. Like Great game by the Niners. Ayuk looked rusty.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
That pass that Purdy threw to him in the end zone that he dropped
Yep.
was an absolute dime.
Yeah.
That pass was perfect. It hit him in the hands. Defender couldn't have got to it. It was absolutely beautiful. And Ayuk's like,
Yeah.
forgot how to play football. Again, rust, whatever.
Momentarily.
Mhm.
Well, and then there was the play later where Purdy's scrambling and throwing for the end zone, and he threw about where Ayuk would have been had Ayuk not stopped running. So we'll see how that goes.
That's time. That's
Yeah.
Look, that's timing. Yeah,
Yeah,
look,
yeah,
week
yeah,
week one.
Yeah.
But
It'll
again,
be fine.
like, and I said this when we talked. Like, I'm happy they re-signed him, but at the same time, if he had walked or wouldn't play, like Jennings is right there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jennings played
He's pretty
super
good.
great in the super. He is
Good in this
and
game.
Debo looks healthy.
Yeah, he does.
I didn't realize Debo changed his number,
Who's this
Yeah.
guy?
and now he's now number 1 and Debo senior. So
Yeah.
okay,
fun.
got to juice those jersey sales somehow.
Mhm.
But again, like they just came on the field and pushed around what some people argue to be a division winning team.
We have them as a Super Bowl contender, don't we?
Or up there.
Or
Yeah,
they're,
they're
they're up
They're
there.
definitely a playoff team. Yeah.
Definitely a playoff.
And again,
team.
We ranked them.
And I think they are. And I think the Jets are going to be in the mix. But I think this goes back to what we started off talking about, which is right now, the 49ers and the Chiefs are just light years ahead of practically every other team. I'd say maybe you can toss Baltimore in that discussion.
Yeah.
But beyond that, those three teams are just playing. They're almost like they're playing a different game than
Yeah.
most of the league right now. And it's
That's what it
great
looked
because
like.
one of them is my team.
Yeah, you're the only one with a good team, we think.
I have two good teams.
Oh my
That's
god.
right.
Well, the Bills aren't bad either.
They are,
Real quick on the
the Bills'
Jets.
defense looks a little shaky.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a second.
We'll get to that.
1 second. Real quick on the Jets. Sauce Gardner
Yeah.
wasn't out there for a while, and then they asked if he was hurt, and they said no.
No.
And they had no explanation.
He said he got the wind knocked out of him, I think. Didn't he say?
Yeah,
I
he had a
don't know.
reason.
I think he jammed his shoulder on that
Yeah.
tackle in the
He
backfield.
just wasn't.
and so
telling
he
anyone he
wasn't
was
he
hurt?
wasn't hurt. I think they just held him out so it didn't get worse.
Because he didn't come
Okay.
back and he
'Cause
finished.
he came
the
back,
game.
yeah.
Right.
He did
right.
finish the game,
I
right?
think it'll be listed on the injury report though, so it'll be interesting to see where that injury occurred, whether it's his shoulder, or whether it's his
Right.
sternum or something like that. Because I do think he's got something, but
The problem for the Jets is that Rodgers can't move.
oh god,
Cannot.
he also
he's
I
he's
texted
old.
you, he
I
can't
don't think
drive
it's
the
that.
ball.
No,
I mean-
I don't think his Achilles is right.
Yeah,
Mm,
I think he's right enough to play, but I don't think he's right, if you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
yeah.
and there's gonna be. I think he was fortunate the Niners didn't like just all out blitz this man
Yeah.
and just
Mm.
Because you saw it. He like just in the way he hands the ball off. When he's done handing the ball off, he favors that leg.
hmm
I don't think he's right yet.
his accuracy is still there when it
Yes.
comes to over the middle short stuff. Great. I mean, he was dishing it out. His percentage rate was high. I think the Niners saw at halftime he cannot throw this ball deep. He just
Nope.
doesn't have the strength
Mm.
anymore, and we've seen it happen with Manning and Roethlisberger. It's like it
Yeah.
tends to kick around. Your arm strength tends to last with you a little bit longer than a lot of other physical attributes. But when it goes, it's done, and you're not getting it back. And I think they realized we can just play close, put the guys in the middle, put the corners up close, bring the safeties in, let him get like those 5-yard passes, but he ain't getting any more than that. And that's what they did to him. They really
Because then I grant garbage time, but then Ty God comes
Ty
in
God.
and takes him right
Ty
down
God.
the field.
my boy.
My God. I was laughing at one point when the Jets scored to make it 7-6, and they celebrated like they had won the Super Bowl. And Robert Saleh running around, pumping his fists. Aaron Rodgers yelling at Garrett Wilson. I'm sure Nathaniel Hackett was in the back room. Oh, yeah! Fuck yeah! We're going all the way, baby! I'm the king of Boggle. There is none higher. I get 11 points for the word quagmire.
The best
I don't
part
know
is
if
I
you're
saw. Go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say, I don't know if we're going to talk about this during the broadcasting moments, but that clip with Aaron Rodgers and Hackett on the sidelines, and Hackett's trying to show him the tablet, and Aaron Rodgers is looking away. Yeah, just
Can
no
we?
concern.
Do we have that clip? Can we talk over that with the Hackett
Oh my
boys?
God.
That would be amazing.
Now, I don't really like Battleship because there's letters and numbers. That's confusing.
As you can see here, I lose the pieces all the time.
I ate some, but you know.
See, Aaron, you have to push this button that says roll, and then it shakes the dice for you, and it moves the little shoe.
Hey, Aaron, what is this chess? What is this chess all about?
Oriental Avenue. I'm going to buy it. It's only $100.
Ugh.
It's not a play. It's just shit about board games on the iPad. Now I'm
Like
trying
my
to play
kids with a
Sim
car.
City. How much for a building?
Oh, way too complicated for him.
Way too complicated.
Oh, no.
Do Sim City.
Yeah, no.
Roller Coaster Tycoon, he could do.
I don't think he can do that. Maybe The Sims. Like, I feel like he
Yeah,
can kind
okay.
of get that.
Oh, they don't speak any English.
Oh, no, I peed myself.
I
shit.
shit myself in the game and in real life.
Shit.
Jinx myself.
Oh,
Oh my god. Just the celebration made me laugh. Like, you guys are up by 1 point in the first quarter. It's because they didn't score any touchdowns last year on offense. All right. Well, enough of that. It's time to move on. It's time to move on to these guys.
When I was a child, I grew up watching Buffalo. I learned to spell bills. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. Here we go, Buffalo, playing on the field of broken dreams. Here we go, Buffalo. Rex gave us foot and mouth disease.
Here we are, the Buffalo Ballad. The Bills beat the Cardinals, but it wasn't easy. It was pretty ugly for a while there. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised looking at the stats how little Kyler Murray actually did in this game, because it seemed like he was doing a lot. Little. Poor Kyler, little Kyler.
Look, I think I sent this to you guys in the group chat, and now I can't unsee it either. Is that somebody said that when they see Kyler Murray scrambling, it looks like a toddler who's stolen their parents' cell phone.
The little baby feet.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, Mark, give us your thoughts on this game, because it was close for a while.
So, the Bills tend to do this where they tend to come out flat in week one almost every single year since 1994. This is very on par for how they usually come out. I thought it was even worse though than usual. At least because they were down by, they had everything was going against them. Touchdowns were called back. It was just boneheaded kind of plays on defense. We talked about it before, and I thought the defense was going to carry this team. If anything happens to the Bills this year, it's because Josh Allen is dragging that corpse over the finish line, because holy shit,
Yeah.
he showed up.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns, including leaping over a motherfucker again. Buda
Yeah.
Baker, the actual good player on the Cardinals.
The only good one on the defense.
Right. That's not sustainable. He can't keep doing that. He fucked up his hand.
What's up with that hand? Is it broken? What's
No,
going
it's not
on? They
broken.
haven't said.
No, they did the x-ray. It's not broken. It's just,
Okay.
I'm sure, bruised or painful. Definitely painful, I'm sure. But he's wearing a glove on it, but it still hurts him. So just defense played bad. They got better after halftime. Offense got better after halftime. There were things that I liked. I like James Cook. I thought he had a really good game. Keon Coleman really showed up in that
Nice
fourth.
catch.
So, yeah, really impressed there. I like Khalil Shakir. They did a little. I was reading about it afterwards. They went in game planning for Marvin Harrison Jr., which they held him to one catch.
One
for
catch
3
for
yards.
4 yards.
But by doing so, they basically just let Kyler Murray run around and kill them on third downs all the time. And they were like, "Oh, that's part of the game plan." I'm like, not the greatest game plan, because you almost lost that thing. So, I still don't think this is a playoff team. They're going to get crushed by Miami on Thursday.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because they lost. Milano's still not going to play. They lost Taron Johnson, one of also their better players. He's not going to play either. And Josh Allen is missing a arm, so it's not going to happen. But it's week one.
Rebuilding year. It was a rebuilding year for you.
Yeah. I just don't. I had them winning this game going in, and I had them losing against Miami. before all this, and I guess I'm still standing by that because I don't think there's any chance they can beat Miami.
Okay. All right. I thought they looked real bad in the first half, but they really turned it on after that. And surprised. Boy, people who took Marvin Harrison Jr. in like the first round of fantasy football drafts. Oh my God. What were you doing?
I think
What
he'll
were you-
still be good.
He will be good eventually,
Yeah,
but
I don't think the
man.
Cardinals are going to be a bad team. I think they
No,
are. I mean, they're
you-
going to hover around that 800 or that 500 mark.
Yeah, we have them at Jeff Fisher, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's-
we do.
And after watching this, I feel pretty confident about that. That's where they
They're
belong.
pretty Jeff
so,
Fishery.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about the Bills? Or we'll see what happens this week. All right. Next category. What? The Patriots.
Yeah.
All the Bengals. What happened
God.
here?
Bengals. Talk about
Bengals
teams that start
are
off last.
the worst in week one. They are awful in week one. They had a moment where I thought they were going to get back into it. They threw a touchdown to Gesicki, but he didn't catch it.
Mhm.
Then they fumbled in going into the end zone, their other tight end. And then there was like 3 or 4 minutes left on the clock. And they're like, all right, 2-score lead. And I'm like, they're done. They
Yeah.
can't come back. They're done. They can't score twice. Are you kidding me? The Patriots, we thought they would have 3 wins. They already are 1-0.
I mean,
Good Lord.
we're
good
not
Lord.
wrong yet. So,
Well, that's
We're
true,
still
too.
this
not
might be
wrong yet.
one. Yeah.
They might be better than some of these
Might I
other
remind
teams.
you of a plucky Panthers team that won their first game and then lost the next 15?
Yeah, I guess. But they look like they were playing hard. Brissett is a professional
disciplined.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes,
So a guy I work with is in a elimination pool with
God.
146 people.
Not anymore.
40 are out.
Like 87 of them had chosen the Bengals. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
Like more than half the pool got thrown out in week one.
That was me. I got knocked out of my eliminator pool because of that same thing.
Look, guys,
Uh.
the Patriots are going to find a way to screw all of us. We just have to figure
Yeah.
out now it's not going to be by winning Super Bowls. It's going to be by
Yeah.
destroying it gambling.
Right. They're going to ruin us.
I
They're
call
Homer.
him Dan Blower.
Look pretty good. Like, I will say that against and Joe Burrow, I don't think
looked-
he's even healthy yet. I mean,
No,
like,
I don't think he is
he
either.
looks so tentative.
He looked bad.
And then they keep fucking with Jamar Chase every chance they get.
God, they won't want to pay him. He wants to get paid more than Justin Jefferson, though. So I don't think that's right. He wants more years and more money.
I think I said this to Killer Greg, where I felt like the Bengals owner is the only owner who's actively working against his team. Like, you
Yeah.
can say like Jared is a dummy, but like Jared does, I think, to a
He
point.
wants,
want the
he wants to go.
Cowboys be
He wants
competitive.
10 or 11 wins.
Right. I feel like the Bengals is like the Bengals owner is major leaguing his team, but because he just wants to like buy a new shrubbery or something like that for his house, and he needs to save up. Like, that's the only reason he's fucking his team over.
He's got a very expensive Lowe's bill he's got to pay.
Yeah. Right.
My God. Oh, okay. It's time.
Our team's a dumpster fire, but at least that hot mess can keep you warm. Those lucky devils and cobras don't have to watch this shit show anymore. We fired the corpse of Frank Reich so he could be in bed by 8. We proved the opposite of love is empathy, it's not hate. Carolina, oh Carolina.
There it is. They still can't reach the cookie jar. Carolina goes down 47-10. Oh my God. I knew I was in trouble when the first play from scrimmage, I think, for the Panthers was a pick. Bryce Young with his new offensive line, his new weapons, his receivers, all his guys. Picked off on his very first pass. Didn't get much better from there because Rashid Shaheed caught an 80-yard touchdown when nobody decided to guard him. And Derek Carr looked like a world beater. He looked like he was above the Orton line, at least by 5 spots. And it was all bad. Nothing was good. Nothing was good. New coach, kindergarten teacher Dave Canales, and his sex book did not prove to work.
Have you considered watching a lot of Texas football this year?
I think I'm gonna move
Like a lot.
the Texans, you mean? Like,
No, like the Longhorns.
is it a Ewer? Is Ewers coming here? Is Ewers coming here?
Give yourself a preview.
I don't hate Ewers. Is he above the height of 6 feet?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm in. All off season, I was like, I think it's going to get better, and maybe we can surprise this. I think I even texted all of you. I think maybe we can surprise the Saints. No, we can't. 47 fucking points.
Okay,
I
we got to talk about this for real here. If they go 3 wins, I mean, do you give up on Bryce Young already? Like, I think you have to, right?
I think you have to.
Yeah.
think what they should do is just for record purposes and for like, let's see, he plays every single game. I don't care how much of a dumpster fire it is.
Yeah. Yes.
He plays every game. They lose every game. It doesn't matter because you move on at the end of the year. You see, officially, we've given you everything you need.
Yes. You can
What can you
justify
do?
that to your fans now and to really the rest of the NFL. But we tried, and it's just not there. It's just not working. So
I don't know if this means they bring in someone and they have a quarterback competition and then he loses. I'm not really sure.
Well, and listen,
but
you stick with Bryce because this is not a team that had a ton of aspirations.
right.
And because, frankly, if you bring in Andy Dalton, he doesn't save you.
right.
Oh, they're not making the playoffs with Andy.
No. Like, if this were a team, say hypothetically, let's talk about the Jets for a second. If they brought in Tyrod Taylor because if Aaron Rodgers goes down, they feel like Tyrod could maybe still get them into the playoffs. The Panthers are not in that situation.
No.
You didn't bring in Dalton as your worst-case scenario savior. So stick with Young.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want Dalton to come in and win the 6 games, though. You don't
No,
want that. That
don't.
would be a stupid mistake. You need players. You
Would be
draft, you give away all this shit.
Yeah. Right.
You need players. You need picks. I would almost say like trade number 1 and get more picks. Like, don't even worry about getting yours. Get the second guy. But
Be Shadir Sanders. So the answer is no on that one.
I take it now. I would take it.
Oh no,
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
Stop.
Hold out
Over Bryce Young.
Hold out for Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
All right.
How-
Give me some
how
more
did
names.
Leggett? I didn't even see. Like, was Leggett okay?
He was
Leggett
terrible.
okay?
He,
No, I
yeah,
thought
okay. He was
I mean,
okay.
by reference of a team that got
He had
blown out
like
by 37.
three
he played okay.
catches. He wasn't a difference maker. Mingo, who we've been waiting for 2 years to do something, fumbled and almost fumbled the second time. Thielen was open and overthrown. Miles Sanders played a lot for some reason. They didn't play Chuba.
Your own offensive lineman got a sack on Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rebuilt offensive line looked a little better, but still not great. The defense is way worse. Everyone was saying, well, the defense was pretty good last year. Well, when you give up your best player, Brian Burns, for nothing, then you're still going to be worse. You're going to be worse.
Oh, but
They were bad.
he's got a fate worse than death. I mean, he
He
went
does.
from Carolina to New York.
He does. The Saints aren't actually good. I still don't think they're actually good.
No, I
I
don't
think they're
think
either
they're
Jeff Fisher or bad.
Mm-hmm.
But they avoided it this time. If you're still alive in Eliminator, pick against the Panthers every week because they're not going anywhere.
That's a solid choice.
Yeah. All right. Next category. Last one is they did. Vikings annihilate the Giants. Sam Darnold. I don't like seeing success from you. He wins. Daniel Jones throws picks into triple coverage.
God, Daniel Jones. Holy shit.
Brian Daboll's gonna gain 40 pounds after that game and start drinking
back.
High Life again.
On our other podcast, we talked about how, Dayball looked good. He looks like he slimmed down, and he would go to a hoity-toity bar. He wouldn't go to bar anymore. He'd go
A
to like
French
Love
bar.
Yeah, Love
Lay
Bar.
Bar.
He is right back to bar.
he left Lay Bar immediately.
Right.
He might have made it to bar by the end of the night.
Lay Bar.
He didn't leave Le Bar. He was asked to leave.
He was out of Lay Bar. Sir, you need to wear pants to be in here. Oh, he was tossed from Lay Bar. And the Giants look horrible. They couldn't do anything. Even their defense, which is supposed to be good, not good at all. Darnold didn't ever feel pressure.
Dog
In
shit.
fact, once, I think.
I work with at least 2 Giants fans I know who were openly hoping that Tommy DeVito comes back and saves the
my
franchise
God.
this season.
It can't be him. It's got to be Drew Lock.
The fans,
It's
by
not
the
gonna
way,
be
like
Drew
I get it, you're frustrated, but they were horrible to that poor Daniel Jones.
They
I'm
booed
sorry.
him leaving the arena.
Mercilessly. Yeah, they met him at his car. They booed him into the way to the stadium. He hadn't even played yet. They were booing him. Like, at least give him a shot.
Ugh. It was
But-
bad.
Were they wrong?
No, they weren't wrong. They weren't.
They were
Listen,
terrible.
this team.
Daniel Jones has his money, so he'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're also doing this a year early. The Manning thing isn't until next
2
year.
years.
You can't be doing this, right?
Right.
We know that's your game plan. We know that's what it just says draft strategy Manning. It's underlined. So,
Get a Manning.
get a Manning. It worked last time.
God. All right. They dead. I'm sorry to do this, but they dead.
Haven't popped a champagne cold since Bo popped his head. But at least we beat the A's in giving Oakland the slip. The glitz and glamour of Vegas, tears came running dry desert air. Mark Davis thinks the Super Bowl is what he uses to cut his hair. Silver and black, John Gruden came back. We'll be paying him until he dies.
All right. The head is backwards. The Raiders lost the Chargers. Mike's Chargers. There's a lot to unpack here.
The McCarthy-led Chargers.
The hat is backwards. Brock Bowers looked decent. The Raiders
Yeah.
suck. I have nothing else to add.
They did.
Brock Bowers
Gardner Minshew, not the answer.
Knew that already.
Oh,
All right. Well,
Samir White, not the answer.
Mr. Stripe Spiral, which college quarterback would fit the Raiders the best?
Quinn
Ooh.
Ewers.
Quinn Ewers. Okay. No, I mean that's a fine answer.
No, I mean honest. Like, I don't know. It would have to be based on what Pierce says he wants to do, which is not what they did in game one because Minshew threw 33 passes. Granted, they were down early, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. They abandoned the run pretty quick. If they are going to be a run-based offense, like Pierce says they should be, then they should go get somebody from like an RPO run-based offense. Now, you might have said that was going to be Cam Rising, but now he's hurt again already. He's also, I swear to God, by the time he hits the draft, he will be older than Michael Penix was when Penix hit the draft.
Oh,
So,
real quick,
you know.
real quick, there's a this is such a deep cut, but the NCAA football game, which we're all big fans of, right?
Yes.
yes.
They just released an update or something like that where you can change numbers now and when you're playing in dynasty mode. And somebody in the thread I was reading said like it's like, can you change that like into the future? Like, you know, or is it only like within the first couple of years? And somebody goes, no, I'm like 11 years into the future and I can change every player, including Cam Rising, who's still in the game at this point. What a great backhanded compliment.
I love Cam Rising.
He's 11 years, he's still there. So.
I love him.
So, you know, they would look for, I think, somebody like that or Dylan Gabriel. Like, they just need somebody who's a dynamic talent, which they haven't had in a long time. But, you know, I mean, Ewers is still kind of the de facto number one pick for me.
Fun.
Dylan Gabriel would be fun. You know, I'm not a, you know, I mean, listen, if you want a quarterback who runs the ball a lot, you go get Will Howard, the transfer from Kansas State to Ohio State. But I don't think he really has a pro future.
No.
Hmm.
He's
How
better
about
than
DJ. No.
No, DJ's terrible.
DJU? What do you mean?
DJU. I mean, okay, they smoked App State this past weekend, which surprised me a little bit. I didn't think they'd win that game by 46 points, but I'm not interested in DJU.
Oh man. Okay. Well, poor Raiders. But the Chargers, Mike's Chargers, they win. J.K. Dobbins looks like he's back.
Yeah.
They ran the ball a lot. They threw the ball a little bit.
Hey, they won.
They played Harbaugh ball.
They won.
No.
And Jesus
17
take the wheel. We're gonna run.
17 for 26, 144 yards.
And the real star. We know the real star.
But here's the thing. They ran the ball, but like they ran the ball a lot, but literally 26 pass attempts, 27 rushes. It's balanced.
That's not
Well,
balance.
well,
That's
and listen-
balance.
And it makes perfect sense because what's the strength of the Raiders team? Their pass rush on their defensive line, right? How do you beat that? You run at them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is
I
true.
love though, even with that game, Crosby still got a sack because he's so fucking
he
good.
did.
Like he's
He's
yeah.
unbelievable.
What an amazing
really
player.
He's really good. It's now
And
time.
McConkey. We had to talk about McConkey.
It's now time for It's not time for. We need a song for McConkey.
Yeah.
The McConkey update
Yes.
of the week. Do you want to do it since it's your Chargers, Mike? Lad McConkey. He had 5
This week.
catches. 5 catches.
McConkey goes undercover to catch a drug smuggler in sunny San Diego.
Woo! 5 catches,
Ironically.
39 yards, 1 touchdown. He scored! McConkey in the end zone. I yelled.
Yeah, McConkey got a touchdown this week.
Who keeps getting peanut butter on the controller?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Not really.
Jim McCarthy. He's got nothing better to do. He's rehabbing that knee.
He's just rocking.
Do I have to put the peanut butter back on the top shelf? Jesus.
Wait, is McConkey JJ McCarthy's dad?
No.
No, JJ McCarthy's dad watches McConkey and ignores
okay.
him.
I
Kyle.
got it. All right.
JJ
all right.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Mr. McCarthy doesn't have time to suffer fools like his own children.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. All right, one more they did.
Mr. McCarthy's upset because, like any good father, he was at work, not home with his children, and relied on McConkey to raise them. And obviously, his son couldn't handle the message. So he's a failure.
It's McConkey's fault, but I love McConkey.
No, it's not. McConkey doesn't make the mistake.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
the weakness of his son, JJ. How
Okay.
dare you?
All right.
Slander McConkey.
One last game is they dead. The Browns are dead, baby. They're dead.
Dead.
The Browns
Absolutely.
are dead. They dead.
So I was cleaning up after dinner. It was taco night, white people taco night.
Nice.
Anyway,
Sour cream for everybody.
Yes.
it's white people taco night. Anyway,
Sour cream and hard shell tacos.
I got
That's it,
some
no meat.
taco shells from the grocery store. I got some ground beef from the grocery store. Anyway, and I get a news alert on my phone from Sports Illustrated that apparently they got a hold of Deshaun Watson's contract. And they're going through it because there are, quote, some clauses that are potentially relevant given that Watson was once again accused of, you guessed it, kids,
Two
sexual
people.
assault. So there's a possibility, and I think the Browns are deeply exploring this possibility of
So
potentially voiding and getting out from under his contract.
Yeah.
So that tells you how things went week 1 for the Browns.
Also,
They were
with this
bad.
allegation, this because it was in Texas, I guess is where this allegation hits. When they use the term like sexual assault, that's rape. Like that, and so there's a lot of weight to this latest lawsuit. This isn't something he's going to walk away from.
No,
He
but
should've
it's
walked away from the
also
first 20, but still,
it's from 2020 or
2020,
2021. It's not
Yeah.
from now, so
no, it's not recent,
doesn't-
but still,
doesn't make
Doesn't
it better.
matter. It
But
came up.
yeah, because this
Came
one
up.
didn't involve a masseuse. I think
no,
that's
it's not a
important.
masseuse.
no,
This
this
is
was
a
No.
another
friend.
private citizen.
Yeah,
Somebody he
right.
met at a bar.
Yeah.
Masseuses
Mike-
aren't private citizens?
Mike, not to sidetrack for a second, how are you getting news updates from Sports Illustrated? Is it sending them from beyond the grave? Sports Illustrated doesn't exist anymore.
Those AI bots they hired are still cooking.
I
They're
live
gonna
in
take
Central
over the
New
nuclear
York.
program.
Guys, I live in Central New York. It's roughly 2010 here.
Mike's got to get a ding on his phone from Highlights Children's Magazine next. Like,
The
oh,
sporting news comes in the mail. He's like, wait,
gotta-
McConkey.
He's got to stop by the Blockbuster video. No, sorry, 2010, the
wish.
Hollywood video.
Hollywood.
I
yeah,
wish.
right.
I miss it. I
Hey.
miss it.
The water's warm here, boys.
The Cowboys don't particularly look great, but they crushed the
Their
Browns
defense looked
easily.
good. I mean, their defense looked
Defense looked good, but
monstrous,
Ezekiel Elliott's wearing 15 again. He might as well roll that
Is-
shirt up.
Is the defense that good, or is Deshaun Watson
Yeah.
that bad?
Could be
He
both.
was bad.
Could be both.
absolutely horrible. I saw like a graph, one of those ones where they divide it up in like 4 quadrants, and the upper right is like the high performing quarterbacks, and then it goes on. Lower left was all the rookie quarterbacks, and then Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
That's fucking
Yeah, he was
abysmal.
bad.
What,
He was bad.
just quickly, how did we feel about Tom Brady in his first game call?
Oh, hold on that because I am going to bring that up later in a segment.
Okay.
Ryan has feelings.
That's got a segment. So we'll bring it up in a moment. Because I got a lot to say. Not a
boy.
lot, but I got some things to say. So
I was also thinking about this too. If the Browns find a way to get rid of Deshaun Watson, I'm still going to hate the Browns for doing this.
Absolutely.
You're
I
always
can't,
gonna hate the
shake
Browns,
that.
right?
Yeah, it's kind of like how I always hate the Falcons for blowing 28-3. Like,
Yes.
that's just going to always stick with me.
You know
I
what?
hate the Browns because of this.
I was thinking about that the other day because I was like, somebody was talking about the 49ers, probably Mike, and I was like, God, I hate those fucking guys. I hate the 49ers. What the fuck? And I'm like, wait,
Hey,
well, hold on. Let me back up. I'm like, God, I really can't stand the 49ers. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Why don't I like the 49ers? They used to be my favorite team when I was 5. I mean, I should have some love for the 49ers. I'm like, oh, I know why. It's because fucking Kyle Shanahan, 28-3. He was at the helm of 28-3. And I still blame him for it. So I justify my 49ers hate because of that.
I've got to watch him lose 2 Super Bowls. It's great.
You felt the pain.
My hatred is specifically with the Falcons because of that. Not
I
any
know, but he
player.
was the coordinator, and he doesn't deserve any blame for how bad they played.
The team. The overall
Alright.
team is where all
Yeah.
my hate goes.
Well, I also hate the Falcons for other reasons. Okay. Well, the Cowboys. We'll see if they're actually really good or not. They paid Dak. They paid Dak. We never talked
did.
about that.
Yeah, honestly, I am
We didn't think that was
blown
good.
away by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, honestly, they had Shadir Sanders in their head. I thought that was the guy, judging by the past, history with him and Jura loving those flashy players. But
Not this time.
no, I'm wrong.
Not this
Which,
time.
what reprobate signed with the Browns this week?
Oh, football terrorist.
That's
Kadarius
right.
Toney.
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney.
The terrorist is back. He's gonna fix
My
everything.
God.
Also, Jerry Judy is there. He's not great either
No.
on a
I got-
football.
I
field.
work
God
with
hate. God just hates Cleveland.
Yeah, sometimes.
What did? Sometimes
Well, they
Well,
won
the
that
Guardians are
NBA
good.
title. They won the NBA title, right?
that was
Better
just
hold
to
them
tease
over.
them.
Yeah, right.
That's all they're gonna have.
I was gonna say that I have a friend who's a Chiefs fan, and he was chatting with me and he talked about Xavier Worthy and that awesome end around that he did, and then he
So
goes,
awesome.
that second one is like anyone could have caught that. He's like it's cool that he did it, but like that was blown coverage. It's like anybody
Except-
could have caught that. And then he thought about it, he goes, not Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, except
He's like,
him.
he maybe would have caught it at the one and then turned and handed the ball to the Ravens.
Yeah,
He was like, that's the type of shit he would have done.
the terrorist. I can't wait to see what he does with the Browns. It's so great.
Mhm.
All right, it's time for our segments. The next segment is back after week 8. He's here after 75 weeks off. Here he is.
No mayo, no cry.
He's back, baby. Here are his picks for the week. Not week 1. We didn't get any for week 1.
That's
It's
okay.
Week 2.
No Ambien bets, which
No
I'm a little
Ambien
disappointed.
bets. He is not taking any
He's not
drugs.
taking Ambien anymore. And so, yeah.
All right, here are the picks. For those who can't see. 49ers -6 versus the Vikings. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's a good one.
Chargers -6, and it could be -30. Chargers -6.5 versus Panthers.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
Yep, great. Rams +1.5 against the Cards.
This is the other one I disagree with.
Toss up
I think
here.
the Cards are going to take that. But anyway,
Commanders, Mark's Commanders -1.5 against the Giants.
I mean, come on. Sure.
The Giants are not looking good, so okay. Colts -3 against the Packers. I like that because
Yeah,
of
I do
the Packers don't have a quarterback. Seahawks -3.5 against Patriots. That scares me a little bit. I think it could happen.
Don't overreact. Go with the original game plan.
Right.
I would say yes, but I'm a little scared of that one, based on the Seahawks not running at all for a
Yeah,
while. But
But this is a Patriots home game, so it's going to be packed with the 10,000 Patriot fans who are still left.
yeah, right. They've dropped off like flies.
No, they became Chiefs fans.
Yeah, exactly. All right, those are Greg's bets for week 2 of the 2024 NFL season. We'll see if we get more as we
I
go,
hope so.
but
I love
I
Greg.
hope so too. Sad boy boat time. It only fits 4 people. Who goes on the sad boy boat this week? Got a nominee, Mike?
Aaron Rodgers.
Poochie? All right.
Poochie. Poochie's got his little hat and his little vest. He's ready to go.
He finally realized he's on the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody else got one? Mark, you look like you had one.
The captain of the sad boy boat, Brian Daboll. It's gotta be
Oh,
him.
God. He's in the angry boat, though, I thought.
No, he's
By himself.
that's sunk. The angry boat is gone.
The angry jet ski with two cigarettina.
No, she's
He's
in
in
the
his
inner
own
tube.
thing.
She's in the inner tube trailing behind him.
Oh,
No,
he's being
he's
pulled
on
by
sad boy
the,
boat. He looks.
by the ship.
And also, it didn't help that they wore the worst, the
ugliest
uniforms
jerseys I've ever seen.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, they were bad.
And now you're Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, right. Also, why
Slash
do that for
Wolverines. They had like the Michigan
yeah, what about
helmet.
the Wolverine helmet.
week 1, man? Like you don't break that shit out for week 1. You do it like week 13 when you've already.
You don't break
given
that
up.
out for week 1. Also, the coolest helmet in football was ruined somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how. The Michigan helmet is the coolest helmet.
Yep.
You ruined it. All right, that's 2. That's 2 on the USS Cristobal.
Can I put Robert Saleh on there? 'Cause
Yes,
if
that's
this
who I was
is-
going to put.
Because if this all self-destructs, somehow they're going to blame him, and I don't think it's his fault.
It's not his fault. No, his defenses have always been good. Somebody's going to get an excellent D coordinator next year. It's all. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say.
he's gone.
So-
He gone. He gone after this one. All right, that's who I was going to pick. So we need a 4th. It's
Dabo
probably
Sweeney. No, Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell's on
Mike
the side of the
Norvell.
boat. He's got to be.
Yes.
FSU's Mike Norvell.
Yes. Oh
They
my
did win
god.
a game. They won a game this week, so he can't be that sad.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike Norvell. You're up. The USS Norvell. Do we need to rename it?
No, it's the
No,
crystal
'cause-
ball.
It's
'cause
still the
Cristobal has
Cristobal
the better
until
facial expression.
until Cristobal gets out Cristobal. It's the Cristobal.
Mhm.
Did you
Until
see, did you see they lost 2 players who had committed to FSU,
Yes.
abandoned ship this
Yes.
Yeah,
week?
of course they did.
And they were like 4-star recruits. I was like, oh
Yes.
fuck.
until Miami replaces Mario Cristobal with Riverboat Ron, it'll be the Cristobal.
I can't wait.
Well, if River Ron takes over, it has to become like a 19th century
Gambling steamboat.
Yeah,
gambling
right,
steamboat.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
It's like the,
I'm
it's
kind
like
of
the
on
boat,
agreement.
Yeah.
it's like the boat they get on at the end of Maverick.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes, that is it. But it's leaking and it's got mold.
Love me some Maverick.
Maverick's a great,
Great
movie.
movie.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
What a stupid movie, but great. All right. That's the sad boy boat. Okay, broadcasting moments of the week. Normally, I would pull up a screen and show you a bunch of stuff, but I want to talk about, like you said, Brady and his first broadcasting moments of the season, and I want to talk about him versus Bill Belichick, who has like 19 television shows now.
Yeah.
He's literally everywhere. We'll start with Belichick. He's on Inside the NFL. And they went to it on a point. I usually used to love Inside the NFL.
Oh my
It's not as
God,
good
that was-
anymore.
It
was awesome.
Me. Yeah.
It was awesome. It's not good anymore. They went to Belichick and they're like, players you're interested in or whatever. And he put up like Bronco Nagurski or whatever on his fucking board. Everyone else put current NFL players. And he's like, I really love Jack Youngblood. And it's like, this is 2024, Bill. Why are you on this show? He's on the Pat McAfee show every week. He's got a YouTube channel. Bill Belichick has a YouTube channel, which looks like it's being filmed by his 24-year-old girlfriend.
He has an Insta face.
He has an Instaface, which is a joke written by his 24-year-old girlfriend. He's better on TV than Brady. That's what I'm going to say right now. He's way better on TV than Brady because, boy.
Well, did you see the Manning cast? He was on the Manning cast too, by the way, Belichick.
Of course.
Yeah, it was.
He started off kind of like rigid, but by the end he was pretty fucking entertaining. Like
He's
he was
good on
pretty
TV.
I hate
Which I
saying that
hate.
about Belichick, but he was kind of funny.
He's good on TV. He also made fun of Caleb Williams on Inside the
Yes,
NFL, which was great. And he's like, he's not that good.
Yeah.
He didn't complete 18 passes in that preseason game.
I'll before you excoriate Brady, who I think
Yeah.
is worthy of some excoriation,
He
I
needs
will say only this in his defense. In the moments where Burkhardt teed him up with a question
Mhm.
and could
He did
focus
okay.
him,
He did
I thought
okay.
he was okay.
Yes.
I didn't think he was, I don't think he was the best analyst in the world. But in
No.
moments where Burkhardt teed him up, I thought he was okay. Other than that, anytime he had to generate his own commentary, he was in trouble.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. He stumbled a lot over his own words, which was difficult to hear.
Yeah.
And he would just give like one word answers sometimes. Not even
Yeah.
answers.
The
just like,
silence,
"Huh."
the silence was the
Yeah,
thing that
right.
killed me.
Yeah.
It's like the
Right.
end of the play. Burkhardt's done. Okay, you got to give your 10-second little thing about this play, or see the lineman over here, blah, 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 or whatever. It's just silent. He doesn't say
I-
anything, and then Burkhardt has to pick it back up. Like
Yeah.
that
Unlike
is
you guys, I've
terrible.
never-
He had a tendency to talk during the play, which you
Yeah.
typically don't do.
Right.
Unlike you guys who've had radio experience, I had a very brief radio experience, and it was just a one-man crew. It was just me. I can't even imagine calling color or or play-by-play. Like to fill a void. So I give him credit for that. Like it is tough to do, but you hope he gets better because it was pretty tough.
It's not easy to do. That's for
No.
sure. It's not an easy job. It's very hard. People think they can do it. That's the thing that's crazy about it. Is the people who are good at it make it look easy, so
Yeah.
you think you can do it, but most people cannot do it.
No.
Most people cannot do it. But like he never talked about, I don't know if it's because he has all these rules against him where he's not allowed to talk about refs or whatever. Like he has the Brady rules where he can't talk about stuff because he's part owner of the Raiders or whatever. But he never like said like the Browns are, maybe the Browns are in trouble. Maybe Deshaun needs to go back and do that. Like he never gave any like background on what Deshaun is doing wrong or any of that. He just said like Micah Parsons is good. Here he is. I'm going to circle him now.
He's-
That's all he said.
He sounded like a guy who didn't want to make any enemies among friends in the league
Yeah.
because he might be thinking about trying to go back to the league.
Right. The
Yeah.
Packers need a quarterback. Maybe I can't do this.
I liked, honestly, comparing when Romo that first year, where everyone really kind of fell in love with Romo, which quickly changed. That's what I loved about Romo was he wasn't afraid to just kind of like
Call
rip into
people out.
guys. Yeah, and I thought that was entertaining.
The other thing that I saw, I forget who said this now, but there was like a 70-yard field goal attempt at one point, and Brady he didn't care at all, and they were like, for all of Romo's faults, he would care about a 70-yard field goal. He would be excited about that.
Yeah,
He'd be
yeah.
asking Nance all kinds of questions that Nance couldn't answer, and Brady just like silent the whole time, doesn't care.
It's the
at all.
humidity out there.
It's not the heat; it's the humidity.
Yeah.
Warm today.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I feel bad for Burkhardt because I think he's really good. I think
Burkhardt
he does
is
a great
really
job.
Former Mets sideline reporter
Yes,
Kevin
that's right.
Burkhardt.
He does a
I-
nice job.
I feel like this will get better. It's his first game.
It should get better. It couldn't get
Yeah.
any worse.
No. I kind of am yearning for him to talk about Wes Welker or something now. Like this is come on.
He's got stories, but they're all rated R, so we can't hear any of them.
Yeah, right.
And he can't talk about the rest because he'll get fined by the NFL.
Just
He's
here
also
to make it
making
fun.
an incredible amount of money. I think that's also part of
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
people know his stupid salary and how ridiculous it is.
Well, we'll see
and
how he
the-
does in week 2. I mean, he could just tweak it and just be like an X's and O's analyst. I mean, I think
Which
that's
is all anybody
fine.
wants him
Yeah,
to be.
Right. I mean, you think like there are people in my circle who are like, Chris Collinsworth is bad. No, he's not. He's not. He's flat out not. He's good at his job. He can get through a game. Maybe he's not the most, he's not amazing, but he never like he says weird stuff sometimes, but he's really good at like, oh, the lineman did this here and the stunt over here and like take a look at this pass. Like he always has stuff like that.
The worst you can say about
The
Collinsworth
problem
is
with-
he's biased. That's
Yes.
all I
Yeah, I
can.
guess.
He
Problem-
loves everybody.
Yeah.
The problem with all of these guys, Romo, Collinsworth, any of these dudes, when they first start, they're great. And then they read the press about themselves and they get in their own heads and it becomes a self-perpetuating cycle. The first couple of games you watch Romo, like before it really
yeah.
caught on, you're like, oh, damn, this is really good.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I am learning about the game. And now
That's-
it's like, oh, we need 20% more Romo. Like, and he's just, it's just dripping.
Too
with it.
much,
It's the same
yeah.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Like we always said, we always needed 40% less Joe Buck. Now we need like 40% less Tony Romo.
Yep.
Nobody does what John Madden used to do. which was take a complicated game and make
Yes.
it easily understandable for the
Yes.
viewer at home. And people made fun of Madden for that because they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah.
he just dumbs it down." And it's like, yeah, but for
Perfect.
not football people, that's what they want. They don't care about zone running schemes and traps at the second level and pulling guards. They care about, look at this fat guy run over here into this hole and block this other fat guy so that this skinny guy can get through. That's what Madden did. He was a genius.
I
Yeah.
agree, and I feel like the closest we have right now, and he doesn't have nearly the charisma that Madden had, is Greg Olson. Greg Olson, I
Yes.
think, does a
Yeah.
very good job with making it accessible. He's just not
Yeah.
as entertaining. I mean, it's hard to be as entertaining as Madden. Madden had pure charisma to him. He was just
Yes.
a fun
Yes.
guy. He
He was
knew
like
how
a pro wrestler.
right. He was.
he was-
That's exactly right. He was
Yeah.
he could cut promos.
Yeah.
And he was
right.
wonderful at it. And Olsen just doesn't have that. He's an athlete who
And we
is
forget
good at what he
Madden.
does, but
Madden also loved guys. He always talked about Brett Favre. Oh, Brett Favre.
Yes.
Brett Favre. Like he
Brett Favre.
yeah, he loved Brett Favre. I don't know, but it was not good. Brady wasn't good.
Most-
Belichick was good. So,
Most turkeys have 2 legs.
oh, my, oh it's
Gotta do that
back.
on purpose.
All right. I'm done with my rant. Stripe Spiral time.
All right. We'll try and keep this as short as we can because we got 2 weeks of action to
There's
cover.
a lot of action.
Bad start for a friend of the show, Biff, down at University of Charlotte.
Oh,
who
no,
admitted in his
Biff.
preseason press conference that 50% of his starters were hurt before their first game because he had practiced them too hard. He took the blame. I mean, what are you going to do? They ended up losing to JMU, so it goes. All right, I predicted that North Dakota State would beat Colorado. That didn't happen.
It was very
Um,
close.
Yep.
It was very close. Give Colorado credit. Their stars showed up. That third touchdown catch that Travis Hunter makes, like around the guy's head, is
Mhm.
unbelievable. There's 2 guys in the country that can make that catch. He happens to be one of them. I am not, however, going to be one of those people who was like, oh, but look how hard Colorado had to work to beat an FCS team, because there's a small collection of FCS teams, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana. They'd be the 3rd or 4th best team in the Mountain West if they moved up a division right now. They just choose not to. But we see that as evidenced by James Madison and App State moving up into the Sun Belt and competing for the Sun Belt right away. But I will say this. The defensive pass interference that Colorado drew late in that game against North Dakota State, I hate that call. I know that that's how the rule is officiated, but I hate it that you reward the offense for an underthrown ball. Like, defender runs into the receiver because the receiver stops. It's the equivalent of the old Dwayne Wade, get the guy up in the air and then jump into him to draw the foul. I hate that call too. But then Colorado played Nebraska, of all people, and they looked like the FCS team.
Yeah.
I think I said this to Ryan before you jumped in, Mark, like Colorado is a lot like the way that we used to talk about the Colts. Colorado is good at at running and throwing and catching. They are bad at football. They can't block anybody. They can't stop anybody, but they're very flashy when their stars show up.
Sure.
Stat line of week 1. This is my favorite stat line of week 1, courtesy of Jalen Milroe at Alabama. 7 completions out of 9 attempts, 200 yards,
Oh,
3
shit.
touchdowns.
Those are Anthony Richardson numbers.
And then-
Wow.
right, well, and then they pulled him. How do you even evaluate if he had a good game or not?
Right.
You saw him for like a
7
drive of
passes, 3 touchdowns.
Oh my
200
God.
yards, 3 touchdowns. Clemson. Oh man,
Oh,
Clemson.
geez.
It's
Woof.
now I grant you they slapped Appalachian State with the back of the hand this past weekend. But if you're Clemson, it's one thing if you don't take any players from the portal, it's another if you don't develop the players you have.
Mhm.
DJU transferred out, and now they have Kublik as their quarterback, and he just doesn't look good. He
No.
looks lost. They had high expectations for him, and he has looked lost all season. Can't help but notice that Iowa scored 40 points in a game where their head coach was suspended.
My God.
And then
Oh my
promptly lost to Iowa State.
and then probably lost to Iowa State while scoring 19.
Yeah.
If nobody noticed it in week 1, in mop-up duty when Quinn Ewers was out of the game, Arch Manning got his first passing and first rushing touchdown of his NCAA career.
Ooh.
So Arch is on the board.
Don't worry, the Giants owner noticed.
The Maras, no.
It was a super chalky week 1, all said and done, except for the Ireland game, which was in week 0. The Mountain West and the Tupac did not extend their scheduling deal, meaning Oregon State and Washington State are going to play independent schedules next year. I guess Notre Dame and UConn must have been lonely. What's interesting here is that I think the other sports haven't adapted. I still think the Pac-12 gets an automatic bid in a bunch of other non-revenue sports. So if you're Oregon State or Washington State, you're getting into the basketball tournament whether you like it or not. Florida State, full DEFCON 1 at this point. The missiles are in the air. Take shelter. Mike Norvell went from leading an undefeated team potentially into the postseason until Jordan Travis gets hurt and they look like crap to all of a sudden he's on the hot seat. I personally don't think their fan base has ever liked him. I don't think he was the coach they wanted when they hired him. I think they wanted Dion. Either, whether they wanted Dion to come from Jackson State, that didn't happen. I don't think they've ever liked Norvell coming out of Memphis. He's also stuck his foot in his mouth a couple of times with players over the last couple of years. But he went from undefeated season to he is immediately on the hot seat. Like I said, the warheads are coming down at Florida State. USC, you may have seen, retired Caleb Williams' number, which feels a little premature, but it's something they do with all of their Heisman Trophy winners. And they reveled in the fact that, look at how proud we are to display Reggie Bush's number again, which is completely talking out of both sides of their mouth, because if out of everybody involved in the Reggie Bush Heisman situation, USC would have been the one institution that could have given everyone the finger and just displayed his number all along. Nobody could have stopped them, but they chose not to do that. And instead, they continued to display OJ's number.
Jesus Christ.
Boy, after A&M didn't look any better than they did last year against Notre Dame, Notre Dame's running game looked really good. And then Notre Dame played Northern Illinois.
Holy shit.
It all fell apart.
I know the sim engine in NCAA football is weird, but goddamn.
I know.
Wow.
It's the biggest upset in years in college football.
Since the Michigan upset, right?
Maybe since App State and Michigan State, or since that year when, who the hell was it? Was it Old Dominion beat like ranked Virginia Tech or something like that? Anyway, Marcus Freeman, I think, is a good coach at Notre Dame, but he's also lost multiple games across multiple years to teams that he should have squashed. If you remember Notre Dame losing to Marshall last year.
Yeah.
And there was one before that. They lost to it was bad South Carolina or somebody like that. They lost to somebody that they should have beat 2 years ago. And Notre Dame, as we've discussed, because of the way the playoff works now, they have less margin for error than a lot of these other teams.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these other teams can say, well, we can afford a non-conference loss or two because if we run the table in the conference and win the conference championship, we'll in all likelihood get into the playoff. Notre Dame can't do that. If they lose one more, they're out, period. They may be out as it is, depending on how it shakes out, but they lose one more and they're done. What was the other thing I had? Oh, Texas then proceeded to absolutely manhandle Michigan. But I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Like, it usually takes 2 or 3 weeks when a team turns over like Michigan has. It takes 2 or 3 weeks to calibrate how good they really are, never mind how good the rest of the teams in their conference and in the nation are. So Texas throttles the Wolverines, but I don't know what that really means. If Michigan ends up going 7-5, it doesn't mean all that much. The only thing we do seem to be reasonably certain of after 2 full weeks of college football is I think Georgia's really good.
Yeah.
That seems to be the only thing you can hang your hat on. Georgia's really good. Texas is probably really good. And after that, we don't know, except that I think the SEC now has 6 of the top 7 rated teams in the country.
That's not surprising, though. This just in. The Maras have hired Sam Hinkie to be their GM at the end of the season, so they can tank for 2 more years.
Just bring back Gettleman.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, right.
No, you can't do that. You need Hinkie. You need
Ride
a good
that
guy.
pony.
I'm
You
a
need
little
Sam
disappointed
Hinkie.
that
Sixers
Drew didn't
GM.
mention Liberty being 2-0.
No, they're back.
Flame on.
Oh, I also didn't mention, apparently BYU's quarterback is the first Jewish quarterback in program history, and he refers to himself online with the hashtag BYJew.
My new favorite player.
Oh,
My new favorite player.
Yeah.
He's not actually that good, though. I don't think.
No, he's
so.
not.
That's
he
the problem.
He threw one of the worst interceptions against SMU I've ever seen by anyone at any
That's
level
right.
of football.
And you saw that Will Levis.
Yeah, he locked eyes with a cornerback who was blitzing him unprotected, stared him down till the kid wrapped him up, and then threw it 6 yards to SMU's linebacker. It was awful.
That's the real holy war right there. BYU, SMU.
SMU, yeah.
I'm told that Mike has a segment. That's what I was being told. My producers
Yes.
told me.
Mhm.
Oh, it's the Cedar
Cedars.
Tzatziki dip of the week.
Yes, and it's a 2-time winner of the
Ooh.
second time this award's ever been given. Once again, Gary Jones.
Oh my God! Again?
Once again, for spending an enormous sum of money on a questionable contract decision.
He's
In
31
what-
too.
In what exactly true? In what universe is Dak Prescott worth $60 million a year?
Yeah.
Someone tell me.
The same one that James Harden is. That's all I got. It's a very small limb to go out on.
There's two guys.
Oh my God.
The idea, look, I guess I was, here it is. I guess I was wrong that Jerry was going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But then I forgot. Jerry's colossal ego will never allow him to admit that he made a mistake. So therefore, he has to give Dak Prescott $60 million.
Listen, we floated the conspiracy theory on here that all Dallas wants to do is get a first round home playoff game and then lose it because they get the same amount of money. So it's just, that's their plan. And honestly, with Dak, you're going to get that. So,
Yeah.
Things get worse for the Panthers. Their only good player is out for the year, Derek Brown.
oh no.
Out for the year with a knee injury. So there you go. Football FUBAR time.
Yes. Football.
Our
FUBAR.
second one. This is our second of the year.
Second of the season. And, I was looking through all the past inductions and I realized like lately I've been inducting like seasons, like the Lions winless season or like a, Harbaugh, his entire career. Early on, we used to induct like moments. We used to induct like the Vikings love boat. We did Najee pooping in the closet. We did Ontario Smith and the Wizinator. We had a lot of really good moments. So let's go back to that. Let's induct a moment that happened less than a month ago because today Goster Cherilus and his bladder get inducted into Football FUBAR.
What?
So let's go into it. So Goster played offensive tackle at BC, was drafted 17th overall in the 2008 NFL draft, going to the Lions with the hopes that he'd be their bookend left tackle for the next 15 years. Never really developed into a star, but had a serviceable career, played 116 games in the NFL, played for the Lions, the Colts, the Bucks, never made an All-Pro Bowl, never made an All-Pro, but, nothing to sneeze at, 119 starts, right? That's a career. Hung it up in 2017 after his injuries began to kind of pile up on him. When he retired, he did some charitable work. More on that. And he kept himself busy. He was always involved in kind of like local community stuff. But let's get down to why he's going to get inducted. So on August 18th of this year, less than a month ago, his name hit the news wires for all the wrong reasons. According to released court documents, the problem began when Goster boarded Delta Flight 154 going from Boston to Dublin, Ireland. According to the released criminal docket, Goster had been drinking while previously waiting to board a plane and was heavily intoxicated when he boarded. Now, Goster initially began complaining about seating arrangement with the airplane staff. Witnesses described his behavior as disruptive, irritable, delirious, and aggressive prior to and during the flight. The plane took off, which everybody on the plane probably regrets now. And Cherilus was still causing a scene, but at least he was staying in a seat at this time. That was up until about an hour into the flight when, quote, he got up, walked up to a seat where an elderly lady was seated, and began urinating on her. Fully exposing his genitals, court documents said, adding he continued the act for 20 seconds, quote, emptying his entire bladder, end quote, on the elderly woman.
What the hell?
Crew members and witnesses attempted to stop Cherilus by grabbing his arms and demanding him to go back to his seat, and he did. He would start to go back to his seat, but he wasn't done yet. On his way back, Cherilus woke up an elderly man, argued with him about his seating arrangement, and then punched him. which is my God.
What?
This isn't,
This isn't Tyreek Hill you're
I'm gonna say,
talking
who
about,
do you
is
think he
it?
is, Tyreek? Yeah, right. So passengers and flight crew eventually got to de-escalate Goster, convinced him to go back to his seat where he just passed out. The plane, wisely at this point, rerouted back to Boston because you're not going all the way to Dublin with this guy. The cops were waiting for him. He became irate when he saw the cops board the plane and had to be subdued by 4 police officers who let him off the plane in handcuffs. Cherilus appeared in court the following Monday and somehow pleaded not guilty, despite having 100 witnesses that saw him pee on this old woman. Cherilus has addressed the matter on social media, apologizing and attributing his behavior to, quote, a sleeping medication, end quote, that he normally doesn't use. Goster claimed the flight was unexpectedly delayed for approximately 4 hours. In preparation for the overnight flight, I took a sleeping medication that I don't normally use, which resulted in behavior that is not representative of my character, and I would like to apologize to the passengers and crew. So, while an apology was a nice gesture, I'm not sure. Does an apology make up for peeing on somebody? Is that I feel like you'd at least get a gift basket or a fruit
My
basket
bad.
for that one. Yeah.
Send him a bladder of wine.
Yeah. So, Goster, take your place next to Najee. You've earned your place in the football foobar.
Oh, Najee
So,
wasn't so
just-
mean about it.
Yeah.
When Mark tells this story, this is my first time hearing it. I find it shocking that anyone is shocked that a man in Boston from BC on a plane to Ireland exhibited this kind of behavior.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
How is this shocking to anyone?
I also like
This-
that he.
This is a random Thursday in Boston.
It's in the documents that he emptied his bladder for 20 seconds. I feel like after 3, somebody she would have moved, or flight attendants would have grabbed him or something. Like, that's a
Maybe
long
she
time.
assumed that she was peeing herself.
Oh, that's a good point.
Hmm.
You know, old people, planes, it's tough.
Could be-
You know,
It could be a fetish. Who are we to fetish shame?
That's my Robert, always peeing on
You
people.
All right, game balls. Who gets your game ball, Drew?
I don't know.
All
I didn't think that far ahead.
right, who gets you?
I spent most of my weekend in Alabama. All right.
Scenic Alabama.
Fair.
You showed me some
Oh,
pictures.
Fair.
good
The
lord.
scenic Alabama. They get the game ball this week. All right, Megastar Mark, who you got for game ball?
Joe Mixon. I thought he had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
You know, for it really was kind of the forgotten part of that offense. Everybody was talking about, and guys who played great, Diggs and Stroud, and obviously Collins all played great. But Mixon receiving the ball, running the ball, he played great.
I agree. All right, Mr. Mike, who's your game ball going to? Trent Williams?
Jordan Mason.
Oh, there it is. You
I'll
have
take
to. You have
Yeah.
to.
My God, yeah.
I was gonna give mine to J.K. Dobbins because coming off the injury, had a really rough. What did he score on his first play, and then what did he blow out his Achilles or something? I forget what it was now.
Something
But,
like that, yeah.
It was bad, and he's back and looking good. And also, I want to give a game ball to one other person. It's this guy.
Think you can tell us what
You
to
did
do?
every show last year somehow. We try to get Xbox in there. So
Oh,
congratulations.
good.
All right, time for plugs. Who is who's on Bloody Good Music this week? What do you
Again,
got? What do you got?
again, I've been slow, but I am starting to compile my list of best albums of the year. So,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
never because the music industry will shut down about Thanksgiving. So it's time to start thinking about it now.
Nice. All right. Go check that site out. TJF podcast plug. The Disappearing Characters episode is out. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
We have production value on this one. We got some production value on this
Yes.
one. Minkus, who disappeared. Mr. Turner, who disappeared. Judy from Family Matters, who disappeared. And Cody, who disappeared for other reasons.
Yeah,
For
right.
Step by step. It's a fun
Troublesome
episode.
reasons. Yeah.
Reasons. Another one. And then maybe the most important segment of the week and plug is Mike. Who's your worst student of the week?
Yeah, you need to know.
What's your plug
I
for
love
worst
this.
student of the week?
Well, I'd say probably the worst student of the week would be the student who has just made it their conscious decision to show up late every single day when they have me first thing in the morning and the first period of the day, and then have the audacity to try to convince other people that there should be a plan for them to get out of my class sooner.
Nice.
How are you late on your first period of class? My God.
Are you teaching Deshaun Watson? What's going on here?
Mm.
No. Overall, America, the kids are okay.
Also,
Okay, all right.
hold on. Planning to get out of your class sooner, like on a daily basis, because I don't know that you would stop them if they just got up and walked out 5 minutes early.
I would not.
Yeah.
You would welcome.
You're not going to learn about
All right.
James Madison if you leave now.
All right.
Who will teach these kids about how Michael Penix was at Pickett's charge?
There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah.
Penix.
He was a
The
fresh
only rookie quarterback who looked good, Michael Penix.
Penix.
Right.
Under the command of General Andrew Luck.
Yes, General
Yes,
Andrew Luck.
absolutely.
General Andrew Luck and his neck beard.
Yes. Squirrel oil.
Oh my
Squirrel
God.
oil.
All right, we're done. We're out of here. Peace out.
Bye.
We'll see you in week 2.